gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Give it to me like I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna 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 turn it up and then I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.
There we go. My mic's been messing up. Sorry about that. Nice one for telling me. Didn't even realise that I bloody muted it. It shows how quick this one was sorted out, doesn't it? Yeah, been a busy morning. All the stuff going around with Tonali at the moment. 300k. They reckon it's going to be like we've offered his wages and that. They reckon it's all but done. Still one of them things. I'm going to have to believe it to see it. And let's just hope we get this bloody job done. So, just been keeping an eye on a few things and just a couple of things I'm really not agreeing with at the moment. Spoke about them a few times, but I thought, you know what? I've got an hour's spare, got a few times to do. You know, it is happy wife, happy life. So I'm going to have to get them done as well. So I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Got an hour to kill, half hour to kill, whatever way it is. I'll just come on and speak about one thing that is really chewing me at the moment. I must admit, it is bugging me. How easy do we change our minds at Spurs? How easy is it done? I see I'm going to say loads to cut people in a minute. I see in a lot of ways, we're a really hard fan base to please. It takes a hell of a lot to change a Spurs supporter's mind. And then on the other side, we're some of the most awkward bastards out there. We're a nightmare. Like, we swap it too easy. It's too hard. There's no 50-50 with Spurs fans in so many things, not just this, but just so many things in general. And I've been guilty of it as well. And I can vouch for everybody here that we've all been fucking guilty of it. We're all Spurs fans. We've all been guilty of it. Some things you change your mind overnight. Other things, they could win the lottery and you still ain't changing your mind. I mean, let's just take example. If we go and buy 3 quality players, get rid of 6 crap ones, and most of us are happy with the transfer window, you'll always get a couple that ain't happy with it. You'll always get a couple that find a problem in it, or it'll be the other way round. It'll be a poor window, but you'll always find the ones that make the positive of it. No in between. There'll be no it was an okay. It's just we're also guilty of doing it, of changing the mind so quickly from one end to another. I mean, and then we'll always have the debates that one player is good enough, one player isn't good enough, this and that. Again, I say it again, it seems like there is no in between with Spurs. Are we just going to be that lot you can never keep happy? But if we have a brilliant transfer window, I am sure you're going to get the ones who sit there and say, do you know what? Fair play, Nick. First one without Levy. Okay, looks good. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. Looks promising, I think is going to be the better way to put it. Because I don't think there's going to be many that are going to sit there and say the whole world has changed. There'll be one or two. Or you're going to have the other ones on there that will just totally, nothing has changed. Nothing will ever change, whether Levy's gone or not. Levy was the problem. Levy was part of the problem. ENIC are the problem, which we all know it is. I mean, for me, Levy wasn't the sole problem. It is ENIC who are the top odds at the top, who are the problem. But even if we have a spectacular window, you're still going to get the fans on here who will run it into the ground. Now, I can totally understand the side of, okay, actions speak louder than words. It's been a respectable one. I want to see more. But even if it's going to be a good one, you're still going to get the people out there. So I don't care what happens. I don't care how it's been. I don't care what they've done. I still want ENIC out. Give me a choice. I would take ENIC out all day long. I mean, one thing I think it has showed, though, I mean, on the Levy one here, before I get to the main thing that I'm going to talk about, is I think the issue with Levy that a lot of us had, I think the thing that it's actually gone and proven now he's gone, is that old saying of, what is it? The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I think that's what's starting to show with what we've got now. Now, you look at what we've got with Vince and Lange. Personally, I'd rather take Levy back than these two. I mean, give me a choice. Get it all out of the club. We seem to have gone from one fucking load of crap to another. But I think these ones are actually worse than fucking Levy. But again, that's a personal opinion. I know there's others who just wouldn't take it back to the principle, this and that. But my point is, grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I think that is one of the main things that has basically, it has almost proved it. Because I think there's a majority of people out there who can admit that these two have been absolutely shocking. We need to get the deals done. We need to buy these players soon as. I know there's others out there who thinks that putting the money on the table isn't what it's all about. I agree with that. It's not what it's all about. But to get to the player and make the deals with a player, you've got to put the money on the table for the club. The club's got to accept it. The other club you are buying off has to accept what you are putting down. Get that part of the job done, then you can focus on there. And if you focus quick enough, you can get a deal done, possibly without others stepping in. I think it gives you a better chance of getting the deal done. Whereas if you mess about for too long, it's going to make the more clubs that are just interested, it's going to all make them more interested to put it in. Whereas if you get the deal done with the club quick enough, you can get to the player quick enough. I think it just gives you a better opportunity, a better chance. Yeah, if a bigger club comes in, if someone like Arsenal, if someone like, do I say Chelsea now? But yeah, if someone like Chelsea, Man U, even still now, Man City comes in, we're done and dusted. Unless that player is a pure mercenary and we offer better wages. But you can only try. But we got to get these deals done quicker. This Tonali thing is starting to drag on a bit for me. And I know a 80, 100 million deal ain't going to get done in 5 minutes. But we need to get this deal done. Otherwise, this is starting to look like a bit of an Eze for me. It's starting to roll. And we need this thing done quick as possible so we can move on to the next one. Or we just need to do like what Rain said a couple of days ago. Just put the money on the table. There's your offer. 85 mil, 95 mil, 105 mil, whatever Spurs are willing to go to the max. There's your money. Take it or leave it. You got 2 days, you got 3 days, whatever way you want to do it. You get no reply in 3 days, right? Bollocks, we go to the next one. Because we've got to have a plan A, B, C, D, whatever. Surely. We can't just focus on one thing like we did with Gallagher, like we did with Eze, and then it all goes tits up. Because then it will just screw us over completely. And that is the last thing we want to do, is getting into the window basically halfway gone. And then everyone can see Spurs are even more desperate than which they can see we are at the start. That they then lag it out and we end up having to pay more and everything else in it, and just go on and on and on, and it just don't bloody stop. We need to get these deals done. Brian, how you doing, mate? On mute? Yep, I noticed that after a couple of messages. Was speaking to the wife quickly, and I always put the thing on mute because you never know when you accidentally press the stream button or whatever. Nothing that I haven't done before. I think we're all clumsy enough to do that. Hope you're doing well, mate, anyway. And Ghost, how you doing, fella? Big up, Dan. Big up to you, mate. Also telling me I'm on mute, same as others are. El Rose, hope you're good. And Brian, big up, Dan. Big up to you too, mate. Tony, how we doing out in Sweden, fella? Hope it's good out there. And also saying, couple of signings and then dead silence. I've seen this before. Yes, I must admit, it is looking, like Brian just says here, very classical Spurs, isn't it? Couple of free ones come in. We put a bit of money on the table for another one. And then all of a sudden it all goes quiet. But I'm not going to complain yet. I just want us to try to get this done now. I don't want this to lag on for months, weeks on end, basically. But we do have a habit of doing that as well at times. We either do nothing, and then on the last few days something happens, or we do a couple of little things that give you that little of like, yeah, something's happening, and then nothing happens. That's just Spurs down to a T. Classic Spurs, like you said, mate. Totally agree with you. And Tom, big up to you too, mate. I hope everything's good with you as well. And Al Morgan, 68. Why do we focus on different players that can sign in days, not bloody months? You tell me, mate. I can't answer that question. It would be nice to know. And you have a new subscriber. Thanks a lot, mate. Much appreciated. And Brian also saying, Dan, I won't be surprised if we don't get if we don't get both. Tonali and Mateus, the way things are going, it is starting to stretch, isn't it? And Jay Green, nice one, Dan. Yeah, big up to you too, mate. And you're right what you're saying. It is starting to stretch again. And this is my point. If you can't, you can come to all the deals in the world behind the scenes with the player, with his agent, whatever else. But if you don't make an agreement with the club, if you can't make a deal with, it's all good with the player agreeing that he's going to come to you, whatever else, and all that sort of stuff. But if you don't make a deal with the club, at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen. So you've got to put the money on the table for the club first. And the sooner we do that, the sooner we can start making deals with a player, basically. That is the way I see it. And we do seem to lag on that every bloody time. Just to save 5 million. Now, 5 million for us is a lot of money, but 5 million for Spurs is not a lot of money, basically. I wouldn't have thought so anyway. But I suppose only time's going to tell with this one. And Tari, if I've said your name right, Dan, if you could choose, not saying it is realistic, Walton or Mateus, I'll go Walton all day long, mate. That one goes without saying. And the thing is, if he comes up for sale, I think it'll be the easier one. But Walton is going to be a bit of a... It'd be a nightmare to get. Why? Because he's got the homegrown on him, everything else, English, all that comes with it. It would just be the big clubs would be on him straight away, basically. I think he'd definitely be the harder one to sell. Plus, he comes with the 25% of being English and everything else, and all that comes with it. I still don't see why we don't just say, right, put the money we're willing to pay for Tonali, take it or leave it. Fernandez, yeah, if we get him, great. I'm not too bothered if we don't get him. Personally, I think there's one player out there we could stand a very good chance of getting who I would pick over the pair of them, and that's Manu Kone at Roma. Now, anyone who knows anything about Syria knows that whole league, bar Coma, is up shit street. Even Juventus are up shit street. There is not a club out there that's got serious money to spend. Italy is in the dogs when it comes to the money side of things. And Kone, I personally think he's better than both of them. Now, I think Tonali's a very good player. I've rated him from when he was at AC Milan. I thought he'd be the next Pirlo. Hasn't lived up to that. Obviously, take him on all day long, but I think Kone's better than the pair of them. I reckon you go put down 55, 60 million for him. I reckon they'll take it out of pure reason that they have to. Does it mean that other clubs don't put the money in? Of course it doesn't. But if you don't try, you don't get. You put a good lump of money on the table from Roma are going to look. Same as another player that I would go for from Roma. And I'm going to go into that one in the next 10 minutes. But he's definitely a player I go for. And there's also plenty of players in Italy to look at who you would get at a significantly good price because there is no money out there. You can literally go out there and more than 3/4 of the club in Italy, you can basically bully them to an extent because they need the money. And Spurs have the money to do that. So why don't we take advantage of it with clubs we can? I know this isn't the year 2000, 1990s anymore, where you can just go about and bully the smaller clubs over here. But you look at the league over here, everyone's got a bit of money to their name, basically. I mean, there's teams significantly smaller than us that have billionaires as owners. There's even owners in the championship that have a significant amount of money to spend. You can't just bully the clubs in the Premier League like you used to be able to. Man U used to be able to come in and just say, yeah, we'll take that. You want an extra 5 million? Do you know what? Take it. We're having it. And no one could fight it. They can't really do that anymore because there's not really anyone I can think of in the Premier League that is necessarily desperate for money. Now, okay, we look at a couple of the upcoming ones like Coventry and that. They're not going to be as loaded as the rest. But the majority of the Premier League, let's say 17 out of the 20 teams in the Premier League. Maybe I'm wrong by a number or two, but let's just hold it as 17 at a random number. You can't just go and bully them. You can't just go and snatch their players off them. Other leagues, you can do that. Obviously, in the German league, there's probably 3 clubs out there you can't necessarily do it to. We all know Munich. Leipzig are absolutely loaded, and I'd say Dortmund as well, but they do make a lot of money through selling the players. You look at France, they've got PSG. Not really many others in that league are loaded. I find a lot of what you get in other leagues where they do have owners that have a bit of money. They're in the same situation like we have with Newcastle here. Technically, owner-wise, Newcastle are the most loaded club on the planet. They've got a trillionaire as a fucking owner, for God's sake. But because of all the rules and all the FFP and all this stuff, they can't go and spend their money. That's why a club like Newcastle has to sell their players like Gordon, would have to sell a player like Tonali. And that brings them in 180 million. And then let's say they've got 80 million spending money on top of that. That means they've got nearly 250 million roundabout to spend. And with that 250, they can easily go and get 4 very good players, 4 good players, and with scouts, maybe even 5 good players who would actually get into that first team. That makes their first team significantly better. So it's worth selling the other 2 for it. But we don't even need to do that. We just need to get rid of the crap we've got to also make spaces for some of the players we want. That's going to be an awkward one as well. But we can go out and get these jobs done quicker, more efficient. So why don't we do it? The fact is, we can't just bully Newcastle for money. We can't just bully other clubs for money. We can't bully Palace. Even Fulham. You can't just go and do that to them. But in other leagues, we could go and do it. So get the scouting system right. Go and have a look elsewhere. Now, I also understand the side of Premier League experience. That does count for something, in my opinion. It definitely does put something on there like, right, he's got a bit of experience in the Premier League. So that gives him, yeah, he can work over here. He can do the job over here. He's already shown that he can do the job over here. So I do understand why you would desperately be looking at a player that has got experience in the Premier League, because we all know this is a nightmare of a league to play in. They say it's the hardest league in the world. And a lot of big managers have said that it is the hardest league in the world overall to play in. So with the experience in the league, yes, that definitely counts for a player. It definitely makes you more interested in the player. And then who do you pick? Do you take the gamble? That's the question of it. But I think there is significantly better players out there that we can go for that are better than players in the league. And you could get them for half the price. Why doesn't our scouting system go and do that? We seem to be one of the only ones that don't go and do that. So I'm going to read out a couple more and then I'm going to get to the point that I want to make. And Jay Green, what you're saying, nice one, Dan. I think you're right. You have to put the deadlines on things. Of course you do, mate. Tonali and Fernandez are good players. Very good. I rate Tonali very highly. But there are other good players out there. Exactly. And if we just mess about again and again and again, then you get the thing like Eze happened to us. Or like where we spent basically that whole window after Gallagher, and then it just basically went tits up because he had no interest in us because he was Chelsea and wanted Madrid. He only came to us in the end because no one else bloody wanted him and he wasn't wanted at Madrid anymore. He didn't really have any other options. So he came to Spurs then. But we basically spent a whole window. Ange was that desperate to sign him. Fair enough. If Ange wanted him that bad, fine. But when you realise it's gone too far, they should have cut their strings of it. It ain't happening and gone out and got someone of equivalent value. But we don't do that. And it has bit us in the arse many times. There's been many a times we've just basically prolonged it, and either someone else has gone and took it or it's just totally fallen through. We need to learn to get the business done quicker, more efficient. And Morgan also saying here, I think De Zerbi should look elsewhere now. Possibly. There is other options out there. I bet he's getting frustrated at how things are going. Yeah, and surely he must have had to realise what Spurs are like. But there must have been some sort of deal in there. I mean, the rumours go about that he has a significant more say in what goes on in the window. Fair enough, he has a more say of what goes on and what players he wants, but it still don't mean we get them, does it? It still don't mean we're going to get the players because the manager wants the player. But it's a good sign if we're going to listen to the manager more. And if the manager wants certain players over other players, even if we think the other player's better, we're just going to have to go with the manager. He's the one who picks the team, so we'll have to go with that one. Give him the chance to build the team he wants to build. But then the club have to get him the fucking players to do it. And Jay Green also saying here, what do we say? Start again. We have so much to get done this pre-season too. Too much to get done, and it's all not going to get done in one window. I think most of us can agree with that. We desperately need to address our attacking options. That I totally agree with. But if I'm going to be honest, I think there are other problems that we need to sort out first. I'm one of the very few who think this. Yes, our attacking is definitely a major problem. But in that aspect, I do think we have other issues we need to look at to make this attacking system work. I'm going to come back to that one because that is a good point. But I have got my reason on why I do think that, do you know what? Fuck it. I'll go with it now. I think we need a number 10 more desperately than we need a striker. Now, people are going to say, but we've got Maddison and everything else. As a manager, would you want to rely on James Maddison? Really? Quality player, most technically gifted we've got at the club, got a brilliant mentality for the game, can read it, almost like Eriksen used to do. Not as good, but he knows what he wants to do with the ball before he gets the ball and he knows where people are. Like a good old school number 10 playmaker. But who would want to rely on Maddison? Really? He is injured for at least a third to half the season. And if you actually check up on his stats, for the amount of he's played about half the games for us that he could. And about a third of those games, he didn't actually turn up either. It's just when he does turn up, he makes a significant difference. So I don't want to be relying on James Maddison like I don't want to be relying on 19-year-olds. Maddison is unreliable in the aspect of playing games. Now, on the pitch, if he's your number 10 and you can get 25, 30 games out of him in the season, brilliant. He's a player I would rely on. He's number 10. But where has he done that? Where has he proved that, bar one season or two, that he can play more than three quarters or more than half of the season? Even Leicester lot told us that he gets injured too much. Significantly, he gets injured a hell of a lot and misses a lot of the season. So I don't want to end up having to rely on an injury-prone player like Maddison. I would use Maddison as a squad player because he's just too injury-prone. And then Simmons. For me, he hasn't really settled in the league too well. And then he's gone and got that big injury. And we know when he comes back, it's going to take him a couple of months to settle down again as well and to get his act together. So I don't want to have to rely on that on a player who might be coming back in 5 months' time. Who knows? He goes and does a Maddison, comes back and then busts himself again. Kulu, done and dusted, in my opinion. And I think the only other option we really got for number 10 who could probably pull something off is Kudus. Yes, you can play Gallagher there, and if we get Tonali, you can play him there. But again, they're not made number 10s. They're not made for that position. They're more ones that you play for a couple of games to cover the position. So I think we actually need a number 10, just as important as we need a striker. Because without any chemistry and any creativity, what is going to happen there? At least with the crap we've got, if they was fed a few more chances, you might see a couple more goals. But without doubt, we need to improve on that left wing. We need to improve on a striker. But without the chemistry of a number 10, depending where he wants to do the playmaking from, I think a number 10 is just as important as a striker, mate. Seriously. I know other people see it different, but that's just my side of it. Okay, go and get us a great striker to put there. But if we haven't got a decent number 10 who's got the chemistry on him to put the direct balls and the crosses and the passes through to him and create chances, apart from Harry Kane, how many strikers actually make their own dinner? How many strikers actually feed themselves? Not many. Most of them get fed by the man or the playmaker on the left, on the right, or the number 10. So I think we need a number 10 who can do that job to feed the rest of them as such. But I know other people see that different. I just don't want to rely on Maddison, who is a very injury-prone player. If he can get his act together and not be injured all the time, in that first team straight away. But I just don't think he will. He hasn't done nothing to prove he does. Since Leicester, he just gets injured too much to rely on. But that's just my view on that one. And Brian, Walton is very good on the ball, but off the ball, not as good. Mateus would be well-balanced, but isn't at Walton's level on the ball. No, I can agree with that, mate. And like I say, with Walton, I think we'd have as much chance of getting him as we would have if we'd have gone for Anderson. It's the English side of it that attracts as well. And others here, Tariq 996, agreeing with you, mate. Tony, what are you saying here, fella? 23 months member. Thanks a lot, mate. Left wing, right wing, 10 and striker ASAP. Definitely. I agree with that. How about Somerville? I wouldn't say no. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't say no to it. Not the first one I'll be looking at. I think there's better in other places, but not the first one I'm looking at. And Rob Plan, still reckon Enoch pulled the wool over our eyes with these transfers, mate. It wouldn't surprise me. That's why we need to see actions speak louder than words. And we've seen this thing happen over and over again. Too many consistent times we have seen, like even in January, we tried. We went for the best, but we couldn't do it and there was no one else out there. Bollocks, there was no one else out there. You just couldn't get your job done or you just covered up our eyes, basically. And again, a lot of people fell for it. Again, this is where our fan base are very easily upset or very easily pleased. Again, there is no in-between when it comes to Spurs. It's either far left or far right. It's either black or white, whatever way you want to put it. There never seems to be an in-between. But that's just part of the madness of the club we are in that aspect. Straight can also question, Dan, do you think Arsenal are going for Bruno G? He's holding up the Tonali deal. Could well be. But if they step in and go and get that deal done and then stop us getting Tonali because they went and got the deal done, then that, for me, is evidence that actions speak louder than words. Go and get the job done. Put the money on the table so that the club can't turn it down. Or, well, they can, but the club won't turn it down, and then you can focus on the player and get the job done as quick as possible. Because, again, like I said earlier, you can all talk to the agent, everything else, and the player accept this, the player accept that. If you don't agree a deal with a club, it doesn't matter what you agree with a player, it's not happening. And I know it works both ways, but you've got to make a deal with a club before you can make a deal with anybody else. Because if the club says it ain't happening, it ain't happening. If Arsenal have gone straight in there and put in a bid for him that good that Newcastle accept it, straight away they're talking to the player. Job gets done. We lose out on Tonali. Or would Newcastle sell them both? I don't think Newcastle would sell them both. I think that would be a silly move by Newcastle. I think they will make enough money, which they have off Gordon, and selling either Tonali or Bruno. I think they would make enough money with them two and money they've got to then improve their squad significantly. So I think it's only one of them that's going to go. And I'd be very surprised if it happens other way. If Arsenal go and get Bruno and we get Tonali, great. But I don't see both of them happening. I don't see the logic in that one. I don't see that Newcastle were that desperate that they have to go and do that. but we don't know what happens on there. But again, that's just the way I see it on there. But I agree. If Arsenal go and get the job done, then I just don't see the Tonali deal happening. And Morgan also saying, "Are talks still going with Man City?" I don't think they are. They've just gone and got Anderson. Why do they need Tonali? They've still got just as good players in centre mid. I don't see why. Could it happen? Of course it could happen. We all know anything happens in football, but I just don't see why they would be, after they've got Anderson with other players they've got. I just don't see why they'd be interested in going and getting Tonali, unless they're having a total rebuild of the centre mid. I don't see why, and I don't see why Tonali would go to a club necessarily to be a second player. One advantage we do have at Spurs that we can offer a player, and we're also going to have to show that we are willing to improve the team as well to a player, is that they get first team football. And that is actually a big shout in football. The fact that you can offer someone first team consistent football. I mean, if we get Tonali, you can almost build a team around him, basically, of how we play. And it is part of a pulling system. But then you will also have the ones who want to go to the bigger club and want to win things, which is totally understandable as well. It all depends on what the player wants to do. If he wants to play significant games, game in, game out, every game, first picked, then you go to a club like Spurs. If you're willing to fight for your place, but also knowing that you're going to only see half the games of the season, possibly if you're lucky, it all depends on what the player wants to do at the moment. And Finn saying here, I'd actually be more happy with Kone and Walton as options, rather than Tonali and Fernandes. I agree with that. I'd take Walton over Fernandes all day long. Tonali is a player I would take over both of them, personal opinion. But Kone, I'd take that over the lot of them. I said that earlier. And others like Tom here saying, get Greenwood. I wouldn't say no to him. He's a bloody good player. Come and do the job at Spurs. I'd be happy. Morgan Gibbs-White is another one I think we'd all quite happily take as a number 10. Do I see that one happening? Not anytime soon. Right. So let's get to the point here. And I've done the picture on it, and I'll show the picture again. Kinsky, 5 good games. Number 1 already. 5 games that changed everything. Spurs fans flip-flop again. There is my perfect example. Now, what was it? He played 6 or 7 games at the end of the season. Was it 6? Was it 7? I think it was 7 games that he played at the end of the season. 2 of them didn't really get spoke about, the first 2, and I think it was the other 5 that definitely made significant that we noticed, because a couple of them saved us the games. In some ways, you can say he kept us up with some of the saves he made, but then if you want to go like that, Vicario made some bloody good saves last season, also screwed up big time, that you could say didn't cost us a game as well. But then he also made mistakes what did cost us a game. It depends what way you want to look on it. But it wasn't long before then, after the Atletico Madrid game, that so many Spurs fans said, I mean, I thought his career was finished. After that game in the Champions League, I thought Kinsky, game over, mate. Especially what I see happen to, I can't remember his name, the German keeper in the Liverpool team that totally screwed it up against Real Madrid. Klopp was like, don't worry, everything will be all right. And then as soon as it came to the window, baked potato, mate, see you later, you're out. And then his career just went to shit after that. I thought that was what was going to happen with Kinsky, personally. Pretty much all the fans turned on him that I see on here and on here. I'd say 95, 99% even turned on him. Sorry, lad, you ain't good enough. Sorry, fella, he's got to go. We can't play him like that. Okay, it was an accident. Some of the things, shit happens, but we can't have that. Then he goes and has 5 solid games at the end of the season. Everything changes. Are we really that easy to change our mind as players, as a club, that 5 games changes everything? After 5 games, he is now good enough to be our number 1 keeper. And I see this is a debate that does go round. Now, from what I've seen of a Kinsky, there's promise in there. There's potential there. But then we go back to this point again. I don't want to rely on potential. Same as I don't want to rely on Maddison being how injury prone he is. I don't want to rely on the potential of Bergvall, of Gray, of Odeberg, of Vuskovic, of Kinsky. I mean, 23 is quite young for a keeper, but he's not a boy. He's played football. Just not much experience up the top, not much experience in the Premier League. So do you really want to have to rely on a goalkeeper who hasn't really got much experience and has had 5 good games? Yes, we can say he made, if I remember out of those last 5 games, he made 2 or 3 world-class saves. No two ways about it. And I don't use the phrase world-class very often. He made 2 or 3 world-class saves. Well done. And do you know what? Credit to the fella on the mentality side of things. On the mentality side of things, a lot of players, a lot of people would have broken after what happened to him in the Champions League. So the fact that he was able to come in and give us 7 stable games, 5 very good games at the end of that season, which he wouldn't have got to do that if Vicario would have been in, if Vicario wouldn't have been injured. Let's be honest there. De Zerbi said Vicario is my man. Did he just say that to keep it happy? Whatever else, we don't know. But if Vicario wouldn't have got injured, I don't think Kinsky would have got a shout. But he did get a shout. Vicario did get injured. And Kinsky took his chances. That's what you want a player to do. But again, are we now honestly saying that Kinsky is now good enough? Yes, his distribution is significantly better than Vicario. So's mine. So's pretty much anyone on here. Vicario is fucking awful when it comes to distribution with the ball. And we all know it. So it's only going to take someone who's very average at distribution with the ball to look significantly good compared to Vicario. Now, I think Kinsky is better than average with his distribution of the ball, but it's just the point I'm making. We all know Vicario can't command his box. Kinsky actually looks like he can command his box better than Vicario, which again isn't fucking hard, is it? So 5 good games, and he's our number 1 goalkeeper. I'm sorry, I just can't get my head around that. For me, and again, it is personal opinion. For me, a goalkeeper is just as important, if not more important at times, than a striker. Maybe it's because we play football different. Maybe it's because we all see football different. And that is one of the unique things about football. A lot of people see it different. I can watch a game with 5 of you, any 5, and I will see things that happen on that pitch that you's lot don't. But then another one of you is going to see things that happen on the pitch that I don't see and that others don't see. And other people are going to pick up other little bits of the game that other people don't see. That is one of the good things about football. People do see the game very different. And then there's going to be points where we all see it. And then there's going to be the points where half of us are arguing that it was a penalty and half of us saying it wasn't. That is the fun of football. But for me, a goalkeeper is just as important or more important even than a bloody striker. A goalkeeper can win you leagues. A goalkeeper can keep you up. A goalkeeper, how many teams have actually gone anywhere with a bang average keeper? Not many. Yes, you need the striker to win games as well. But what are you more likely to do? Win a game 1-0 or win a game 4-3? If you're going to play like Ange played and like other managers play, you score 3, we score 4, then you need a bloody good striker on you. You need someone who can bang that goal in at least 2 goals a game, and other people who can score. We haven't got that. Have we got the capability of scoring a goal a game? Yes. Not good, but yes, we can do that. We have shown that. With the defence we've possibly got, and if we've got a solid goalkeeper there, can we keep a clean sheet? Yes, we'll see that from next season. But I think we've got more chance of winning games on a 1-0 or even a 2-1 than playing you score 3, we score 4. And I don't think Kinsky's ready for that yet. 5 games does not change my mind. But I just see a lot of people just totally that Kinsky has to be our number 1 now. He deserves that chance. Fuck deserve. I don't care about deserve. I just want what is best for the club. I don't care about sentimental value. I don't care whether a player's been here for 10 years and been brilliant. If he's not good enough now, see you later. He's got to go. That's what Chelsea did all the time. That's what Man U did all the time. Real Madrid have been known for doing that consistently. Go for all the other big teams. Man City do it. That's what the big clubs do. Well done. You've been great for us. But sorry, this is not sentimentality. This is not a this is not Love Island. You're not good enough now, mate. See you later. Baked potato. Now, he's had 5 solid games, and people are saying he deserves to stay he deserves that first place for what he did. I'm sorry. For me, no, he doesn't. Now, I'd say he's earned his role as our second keeper. I'll go with that. But after the goalkeeper we've gone and got, I think it's quite obvious that he's going to be our number 1 keeper, isn't it? And I think that's a major chance that we shouldn't be taking. Depending on how we can sell and other stuff, I think a goalkeeper should be just as important as other things that we're looking for. Because if we haven't got a solid goalkeeper on there, that's going to cost us games. A goalkeeper can save you 10, 12, 15 points in a season if a goalkeeper is that good. They can do that much for you. So for me, I just want the best for the club. I just want Tottenham to do their best. I want the best players at the club that we can get. Now, I accept that with what we've done over the past 2 years, 17th and 17th, we aren't necessarily going to get the quality players that we want. I mean, we never fucking get them anyway. But we aren't necessarily going to get quality players out there. And I understand that we have to take down a step or two as such. I believe that we have to work ourselves up to 10th to 8th as such, between 8th and 10th for next season. And then bring in more players, getting rid of more of the crap we've got, because it's not going to happen in one summer, basically, and it definitely don't happen in January. And then basically build ourselves up from there. And then build ourselves up to finishing 6th to 8th. And then build ourselves up to keeping a 6th or even going for a 5th place. And build ourselves up. I think that is what we're going to have to do. Unless we're willing to go out there and spend 300 million and then 300 million in 2 windows, it's not going to happen. The only way that's going to happen is we are really, really willing to throw the money about. That is probably the only pulling power we've got at the moment. Going to a player who you wouldn't think would necessarily come to us, not a great player, but a very good player. Right, he wants 200 grand. There you go, there's 280 grand. Now, I'm not saying we will do that, but that is about the only pulling power, I think, one of the only major pulling powers we've got at Spurs. We have got money to throw around, yet we just don't do it. Well, we do, but we throw it in the bin. We don't do it properly. So we've got to build. But for me, we need a goalkeeper. I don't want to be relying on Kinsky. So there's 2 goalkeepers out there that I personally think that we could go for. 2 goalkeepers. And I personally think, again, it's all personal opinion. For round about to 40 to 55 million, we could get either one of them. I think it could be done. Reason, I don't think there's many other clubs out there, significant clubs, looking for a goalkeeper. I mean, obviously, someone will make me wrong if I'm wrong. About the only significant club I can think of that really needs a goalkeeper as well is Chelsea. Man U, no. City, no. Arsenal, no. The Villa need one? No. I don't think there's many others. Real Madrid need one? No. Barcelona? No. Munich? No. People in Italy just can't bloody afford it. PSG? No. And then it comes down to our level, basically. Like some like to call it the pecking order. Like why I believe we could get Tonali. Because I don't see anyone else but Chelsea possibly wanting to go who need a goalkeeper. This is why I think these 2 could happen if we actually put in the money for it. So before I go to them, I'm going to read out a couple more things. I mean, obviously a bit lagging on it where I'm a bit behind in that. But I think we should definitely be going for a goalkeeper as well. People will say there's more important ones to look at. And again, it's each their own. But for me, a goalkeeper is extremely important. And I think there's 2 goalkeepers out there we can get. So, Finn, what you saying here at 2:15, Madness is a squad player, but you lose value selling him. So he stays for the dressing room. You know what? I can go with that. Because if we do try and sell Maddison, what are we going to get for him? 5 million if we're lucky, with his injury record, especially over the past season and a half. 2 major injuries. I totally agree with that. With most of our players, we'd be losing out on money. Think about it. If we sold Solanke, we're losing money. If we sell Richarlison, you're losing money. Go and sell Sarr. Go, pretty much. If we go and sell Archie Gray, you're losing money. If you go and sell Odegaard, you're losing money. This is where I just feel we're going to have to cut our losses on a lot of players. But do you know what? I'll go 100% with what you said there. It would probably be better to keep Maddison. I know I've said sell him, but with what you said there, I'll step back. I think you're right. Yeah, that makes logical sense to me. And where we'd only get, let's say, 7-8 million for him, basically, and it would probably only be a club that's just been promoted either way. So you're not going to see that much off of them. And keep him for the games he can play or for the 20 minutes here and there and keep him for the dressing room. Yep, mate, I'll go 100% with that. I think that's a brilliant point. Yeah, because he wouldn't be an easy player to sell anyway. So on that one, mate, yeah, I think you're 100% right there. I'll go with that one. Keep him for the squad, basically. And Aussie Ange, hi, sir. You're right, mate. If Tottenham were to do a near impossible domestic triple, would that be a greater achievement than Leicester's title? Well, yeah, I'd say so, wouldn't it? I mean, nobody thought Leicester was going to do that. That was our one to do it. But obviously, if we was to do some triple, of course, it would be bigger than what Leicester did. So, yeah, I don't see why not, mate. I'm sure there'd be people out there who say it wouldn't be, but there you go. And Tom's saying, in Ghost, I'd give 70 million on Bergville. You know what? That's another thing we can do with Tonali as well. We could offer a player or two. Offer them Bergville. Offer them Gray. See if they would take it. Why not? But we need to get done for it. We need to get the job done because it's lagging on. Rashford, another one. I tell you, as a fella, I think I think Rashford, as a personality, as a fella, I dislike him more than Romero. I think that Rashford is a proper see you next Tuesday. Can't stand him. But as a player, I wouldn't say no to him at the club. Like I've said, I don't care what the players get up to off the club, outside of football. I don't care what they do. I don't care who they sleep with. I don't care what drugs they do. I don't care what they do. I don't care what image they portray. As long as they do the job on the pitch, that's all I care about. But I know there's going to be others out there who see it from a different perspective and everything else, which we're all entitled to do. Rashford is a complete and utter prick. But he's a very good player. I know he's not necessarily the most consistent one. He seems to go through his purple patches, like at Man U. But he's significantly better than what we got. It's just the thing is, would come to him, would be having to pay something like 350 grand wages, wouldn't we? Which is quite a lot. Especially for our lot anyway. That is a significant amount of money. But Rashford is one I wouldn't complain about because he's significantly better than what we got. And he does score goals. Play on the left as well. No, I wouldn't go for him as a striker as such. Do I think he could cover striker? Yes, I do. I think he's got the capability to do it. But not quite the consistency. But if we went and got Rashford and stuck him on the left, well, it's better than fucking Tel and Odegaard, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't see why not. And if we're willing to pay the wages for it, which would be the only thing we've got the pulling power on, it's what we would have to do. So, no, I wouldn't say no to Rashford. Just as a person, I think he's a complete and utter tosser. But as a player, he's better than what we got, basically. I mean, some people were saying that we shouldn't have. I personally think we should have gone for Grealish last season and got him on loan. But there was a lot of people saying that Grealish isn't good enough for Spurs. I suppose we just have to beg to differ on that one. And would I take McAllister from Liverpool all day long? Another good player, in my opinion. And he would walk into our midfield. There's a lot of players I would actually take at Spurs because of how poor we actually are. Like I said, our standards are so low. Kinsky, prime example. 5 good games, and a lot of people go on about it that he's good enough for the new keeper. This is how low our standards are at Spurs. Is it our fault? No, it's not. Most of it isn't. Because we have been dragged down that far by the crap that we have been fed by the club. But then you do also get the Spurs fans who try and make it right and protect the crap that we have brought into the club. So I can understand both sides of it, basically. But we need, if you want to improve, you need to go for better than what we've got, which isn't particularly hard, but we don't just want to go up one step. At least getting a player 2 steps up, which with some of the shit we've got there shouldn't be hard. Could we get a midfielder 2 steps up from Sarr? Yeah, I think so. Even though we finished 17th twice. Do I think we can get a midfielder 2 steps up from Bergville, from Gray, from Tell, from Odegaard? And yes, I do. I don't think it'd be that hard to do that, and it would improve us. This is what I mean by taking things through steps. But we could get a player who's probably on the same level, and there will be the fans who try and justify it. A straight cannon saying Nottingham Forest are in talks with Liverpool over Curtis Jones for 35 million, so I wouldn't count my chickens yet, Tottenham fans. Fair point. And Ghost, Tom, can you imagine what would let me start again. Tom, can you imagine what we would want for Morgan Gibbs White after last season? That would just be a nightmare. And Sports Centric, big up, mate. Big up, Hotspur Hood, Dan E. And number 9 is just as important as a reliable 10. Totally agree with you, mate. But if no one can feed the 9, he needs the creativity. They're just as important. I can go with that. Even if chances were created, do we trust Solanke and the foul pigeon? No. But give them more chances, and you would hope you'd see a couple more goals, basically, yeah? So for me, that 10, that chemistry, even if we get somewhere, a lot of people think that the creativity has to come from a number 10 position as a playmaker. No, it doesn't. You can actually have your playmaker out on the left or out on the right. England used to do it with Maddison a lot out on the left, and Leicester did it with Maddison a few times out on the left as well. It just depends how you want to play your game. But I can agree with that. They are as important as each other. If you've got one with the chemistry, you can create it, but you ain't got the prick in front of you can score it. It's sort of like you're fucked if you do and fucked if you don't, isn't it? But for me, we definitely need the chemistry there as a 10 to try and work it out on the wings and in front of us. But yes, we need a number 9 desperately as well. I suppose you can say we need about 9 new players in that first team desperately, or 9 players desperately already. So, and Marceska has just joined City. There you go. They get the job done. Dan List, how you doing, mate? Big up, Dan. How you doing, fella? Hope you're all good. Big up, chat. Big up to you too, mate. And the prayers, how you doing, fella? Bang on, Dan. If Spurs wait too long and Arsenal buy Bruno, yeah, meaning they don't need to sell Tonali. And that's on Tottenham for wasting being indecisive. That is my point. Newcastle would take 100 million for Tonali. That's 60 million for Bruno. Exactly. We've just got to, for once, just put the fucking money down on the table, basically. So I'm going to scroll it down a bit, and then I'm just going to give you a couple of stats. I'm not going to bring them up on the screen because then I have to enlarge it and everything else, but they're easily readable. And Daniel, Spurs should have signed much better keeper than I can't pronounce his name. Yep, you're right. I agree. He was bought as a second or third keeper, and it does look like Kinsky is our number 1. And I just don't dig that. We should have gone and got a quality keeper, a good keeper, and put Kinsky as the number 2. I could deal with that. Don't understand that signing at all. Neither do I. Nothing changes at this club. At the moment, it's looking like not much has changed. I can't argue that. And Mike saying, I do hope we don't sign Rashford. Overhyped, overpaid, complete shit for England and the World Cup. I think he's significantly better than what we've got. And I think on his day, I think he's actually a good player. But very, very purple patch player. He's the sort of player that you can go out and you can see, like he did at Man U quite a few times, where he had a solid 6 months there, banging it in. If anything, he was the best player they had. And then all of a sudden he fell off a cliff. He's a very patchy player. I used to say Son was a very patchy player. Not as patchy as Rashford. Son used to go through 6-7 games where he'd score like 8 or 9 goals. And then he'd go through 6-7 games where he'd score 1 or wouldn't score a goal. I know a lot of people didn't like hearing me say that, but Son was, when it comes to goal scoring, I mean, you'd still get a good performance out of him in those games. But when it comes to goal scoring, Son was also quite a patchy player as well. Just not as patchy as Rashford. For me, Rashford's worth taking that risk because the options we've got there are terrible. And even if he does go and has a good 3 months, poor 3 months, you're going to see more goals out of that than you are out of Tell and Odegaard on the left, aren't you? So for me, he's worth taking that chance, even though I can't stand the prick. I do totally agree with you. Honestly, I cannot stand him as the way he portrays himself as such. I don't know him as a person, but we will judge from what we see, like we do with Romero. Another one, top prick. Thinks the club owes him something. But I would take that risk with Rashford, plainly because of the crap we've got. Rashford's, for all his talent, hasn't pushed on into his career. I agree with that. He could have gone significantly further than where he already has. But again, he's significantly better than what we got. And what, Dan, what you're saying on it? Rashford is not reliable. I totally get that. His decision making on the final third is poor. Yes, can be. He can get the job done, but he is better than what we got. But that's not difficult. You're right, mate. You're right. That's basically what I've said. It's not exactly hard to improve on what we've got. But I think Rashford is more than 2 steps above Tell and Odegaard. I think Rashford is about 5 steps above him, even if he plays a shit game. I think he is significantly better than Odegaard or Tell. So again, it's a risk I'm willing to take, mate. It's annoying, but it is a risk I will take. That one I will. And Peter also saying, Dan, I agree, Rashford's not great. No, it's mainly his inconsistency and his attitude. And Davis, do you think we're kind of going over the top with Tonali money? Do I think Tonali's worth 100 million? No, I don't. But do I just think Anderson was worth 116 million? No, I don't. Do I think any players out there of modern day are really worth 100 million? Not really. Not many of them. If Adam Walton went for sale, you know he's going for 100 to 120 million. Not quite worth it for me. But it's the modern day we are in, and this is where we have to look at it. It is 2026, not 2018, not 2020. And the market out there is absolutely fucking stupid. It's no different on the football market to what it's like down fucking Sainsbury's. If you went down Sainsbury's before COVID, you could spend 100 quid in there and walk out with 4 bags. You now go spend 100 quid in there. You're lucky if you walk out with half a bag. That's just the way the economy and the money has just gone absolute tits up. And yes, it will get to the point in due time, let's just say a year or two, you will get to the point where the economy crashes. Not just in football, but in the world. Because it's getting to that point where people just can't unless you are a millionaire, you can't even support yourself these days. And it's going to be the same in football, where things just get too expensive that it's going to crash. Because every industry does when it gets like that. Whether you look at films, whether you look at computer games, I mean, games, biggest industry on this planet, 10 times bigger than football and any sport out there, has basically crashed. Films has basically crashed. Big, massive places like Disney has crashed because things are making films or games and that for like 300 million, 400 million. And they just can't make the money back. Because people ain't buying it because they can't fucking pay it. I mean, here's a quick example I'll give on that one, and then I'll keep it on the football. New game coming out soon. Grand Theft Auto 6. Obviously a game I want to play. I know not everyone's interested in games. They have just spent 2.5 billion on making a fucking game. 2.5 billion. God knows what they've got to sell to make that money back. And that is basically the industry as a whole. Like I said, with games, with football, sports in general, films, food, you name it. It's just going to get to that point where the whole industry is going to crash. And football is going to be a big part of it because it will get to that point where people just ain't going to be able to put 100 million down or 200 million for a player. How far is it going to go? 100 million, and then that next goes up to 130 million for a good player, and then 150 million, and then someone, I mean, PSG were the ones who really fucked it up. I think when they got Neymar off, what's his face, off Barcelona, I think that's the one that just took it up to stupid levels personally. And then when it gets to that point where they're going to pay 200 million for a player, I think it will happen. The whole economy is just going to fucking crash. The whole football side of it is just going to go down. And then it will build its way up again slowly. But no, I don't think he's worth 100 million. But to us, that's how desperate we are. People know we are desperate for players. People know we desperately need players out. This is why people are going to offer less money than what they're worth for us, because they know we need to get rid of them. This is what I've been saying. And people tell me, yeah, but he's worth more than that. He might be worth more than that. But when people know you want fucking rid of it, they ain't going to offer you the money. They're going to offer you less because they know how desperate you want to get rid of it. Same as us buying a player. They know Spurs have got the money. They know we're desperate to get players to build, to repair, to make this team as such, to not get relegated. They're going to put an extra 20 million on it anyway. And then because they know that ENIAC ain't fucking poor, they're going to put an extra 10% on the price anyway. So we're just going to have to like it or lump it. Same as with the players coming with us. The only way we're going to change a lot of their heads, it's like I said earlier, is we're going to have to offer them an extra 25% on money. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Money talks at the end of the day, whether people like it or not. I know it's not going to do everything when it comes to football, but things like that, in the situation we are in, it's the only thing we've got to make it talk. Whether we like it or not, money is what makes the world go round. Even if a club don't want to sell a player, you put a significant amount of money on there, you can turn a club's head. Will it turn the player's head or whatever? I don't know. That's the different side of it. But anybody's head can be turned with money at the right time. Tonali, I think he's made it clear that he's willing to come to us. I don't think he's worth 100 million, but to what we've got and what we need, if we have to pay 100 million, mate, it's what we're going to have to do. And at the end of the day, it ain't my fucking money, so what do I care? I know we'd all have a debate about it, but 100 million, yes, I would pay it for him because I think there's better out there what we could get for less, but it's obviously we're not going for him. So yes, Spurs go and pay 100 million for him, get the fucking job done. I'll be a happy man. I know I can't vouch for it, everybody, but 100 million is fucking stupid money for any player, in my opinion. And Tony, Bergvall, Gray, Vicario, Davis. I mean, why the fuck did we put another £1 million why did we put another contract on that? Sarr, Solanke, Richie, they're all shit. I know. But right, last thing I'll say on it, I'm already over my time. I've just bought myself another 20 minutes, so more work. And Dan List is a very purple patch player, sometimes good, sometimes totally agree. Right, let's get to the point I'm making with Kinsky, yeah? As I said, 5 good games, and everyone, I say everyone, a lot of Spurs players turn their head. He deserves his number one. Everything I've already said, yeah? Then we go and look at a player that I would desperately go for. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm not saying there's better goal. He's the best out there, but he is a goalkeeper on our level at a club we could bully and a player we could get. And that is Miles Sevilla. I can't pronounce his name properly. Miles, Svila. He's the Roma goalkeeper. I watch a lot of Italian football. I watch more Italian than Premier League, if I'm going to be honest. I just prefer their football. Again, it's each their own, whatever turns you on at the end of the day. Some like blonde hair, some like black hair, some like ginger hair. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day, each their own. He's 26. Not much international. I mean, he's played once for Serbia. And for me, from when I've seen him play, and I've seen him play about 10, 12 times, he's a fucking good goalkeeper. Significantly better than what we've got. Last season, in the league, he played 38 games for Roma. He conceded 31 and 18 clean sheets. 18. Altogether last season, if you put Europa League into it and Italy Cup, he played 48. He scored. He conceded 44 and 21 clean sheets. 21 clean sheets. I mean, I can bring it up on here, but it's very hard to read. 21 clean sheets. And with Roma, who done well last season, significantly improved after getting 3 managers in from before. Roma are up shit street for money. Same as Lazio. I mean, they're not to the point where it's going to finish the club, but they are at a point where they need money. Even Juventus are having to get rid of players now because their wages they need to cut it down, and the money they're bringing in isn't enough. And where Juventus didn't even get Champions League, if I remember right. Apart from Como out there, Italy is in trouble and it's got some fucking good players out there. But people seem to turn a blind eye to that one. I personally think, I mean, it says on here that his value is 35 million. I reckon if we go and put down a 45 million bid for him, and then, I don't know, another 5 million, 10 million in games played, how far we get and everything else, there is a solid goalkeeper that I believe we could get our level. And I think he is light years ahead of Kinsky. I mean, if we look at what Kinsky has done at Spurs, last season, 10 games, 12 conceded, 3 clean sheets. Now, okay, he only had 10 games. I get that. And he saved our ass in the last 5 games. But come on, he hasn't even got much experience before then. Whereas you look at the other goalkeepers, they've been consistently good. They have played consistent football. And they have been good over the seasons. I mean, on the 24 to 25, again, Sevilla. Altogether, 51 games, 51 conceded, and this is where Roma had a fucking shocking start to the season, where they was in relegation battle for like half of it, 3 new managers and built it up, and 19 clean sheets. That's over 2 seasons now that the goalkeeper has had over 15 clean sheets. Yet we're happy to take Kinsky when we could probably get this fella for 45 million. And his wages are not going to be stupid either. But there's people out there who would tell me Kinsky deserves his chance. Like I've said, I don't give a fuck about chance, deserve. I don't think he's ready. I don't think the fella's ready, personally. Not to be our number 1 goalkeeper. I think he was very good for us in those 7 games, last 5 that really mattered. But how can it be so easy to change a bunch of supporters' mind over 5 games? That's basically like, for me, that's basically like saying, if Richarlison or Solanke, and I know this would happen as well, I've seen it happen already, over the last 5 games of the season, go and score 7 goals. And 3 of those goals win us games. There you go, it's proven. Richie's my man. Solanke's my man. How easy do people want to change their mind? And we are terrible for this at Spurs. Terrible for it. How are we meant to progress when you're willing to give a player that has fuck all experience? He deserves his chance. Where are we going to go with that? Like I said, it's no different to almost saying, like at the start of the season when Richarlison scored a couple, yeah, Richarlison's here now. The pigeon's on fire. The pigeon's going to do it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong with Richarlison. At least he gives it 100%. I'll give him that. But that's about every time the ball touches his foot, it bounces about 6 yards off it, for fuck's sake. So over 5 games, we change our fucking mind. If we want to improve, we need to be ruthless. We need to be cold. You don't get to the top through being nice. Some people don't like my phrase here, and some say it's a stupid phrase. So, think it's stupid all you want. I really couldn't fucking care less. But this is my image of the world as such, not just football. It is a dog-eat-dog world out there. Other people who say it different, my opinion is then you obviously have not lived in the real world. Or you've luckily lived a very nice life. It is dog-eat-dog out there. People will walk over your fucking mother's grave to get one over on you. There are nasty pricks like that out there. And when it comes to the business, when it comes to football, sports, stuff like that, I mean, football you can call mainly business more than sport these days, in my opinion. People will walk over your grave. People will walk over you to get one on you. To get that player you want, they will do something dirty. To win that game, they will do something dirty. How dirty do you go? People want to win things. People will go as far as cheating. That cheating's wrong. Chelsea, Man City up for it. We know Man U have cheated in the past. Loads of clubs have done it. Do I disagree with it? Of course I do. I don't agree with cheating. But then with my attitude, I don't care what I fucking have to do to win. I do whatever I need to do to win. Maybe it's not the best attitude to have in life. I know that. But if I can see the fella next to me is cheating and he's getting off with it, getting away with it, and he's at the top of the table and winning things, and he's cheating and getting away with it, and I'm sitting here being the nice guy, doing everything straight as, and he's being about as fucking straight as a roundabout, and getting maybe fined £3 million for it or £10 million for it, which is tuppence money. Me personally, and I can only vouch for me here, I'm going to sit there and say, Joe, what? Fuck it. If you can't beat them, join them. And I'm going to cheat as well. Fuck it. If he's doing it, I can do it. Okay, I'll get a £10 million fine for it. But if I've got a couple of cups behind me and in the Champions League and bought better players for it, so be it. I can deal with that. I know it might not be the best attitude to have, but that's my attitude to it. Fuck it. If everyone else can do it, why can't I do it? If that's what I need to do to win, then that is the extent I will go to win. Would anyone complain if one of our players, and it was a cup final, won the 89th minute, and one of our players dived in the box, and he didn't actually get touched, but VAR checked it up, didn't check it up, and the ref give a penalty, and we go and score when it was blatantly a dive, but VAR didn't check it, ref gave the penalty, we blatantly score, there you go, 1-0, we win the cup. Who would honestly actually diss the player for doing that? Now, me, personally, I'd sit there and say, cheeky bastard, he dived, but you know what? It got us the game. I don't care. Now, I'm a firm believer that anyone who dives should get a red card if they get caught for it, straight away. I don't like it. But you know what? If it won us the game or won us the cup, I bet you there's a lot of people on here and football in general who would you'd obviously have the old world turning it, you cheating bastards, this, that, and that. I'd turn around and say, well, I'm the one with the fucking cup, not you, shut up. I don't care about other people's opinions on me in that aspect, on how it's done. They're entitled to their opinion, but I genuinely don't care. I'd be the one sitting there with the cup. I'd be the winner. Whether it's dirty, whether I've got, but either way, it's on paper. It's there. I've got it. And I'll bet you there'd be a lot of people on there who go on about cheating, this and that, with everyone else, who would bite their tongue in the aspect and say, I still don't agree with it, but yeah, they'd be cheering that Tottenham won something. That's how back to front a lot of things go. A lot of people are willing to put something aside when it suits them. So going back to the goalkeeper thing, I personally think there is a goalkeeper who is significantly better than what we've got, and we should go for him. I mean, do you know what I'd even say with Roma? Depending how much money a Spurs got, I'm just vouching for me what I would want to do. Whether it's capable of doing, we know a lot of this is all ifs, buts, and maybes. So some people can tell me that wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen. I am just saying ideally what I would like to do. And on a realistic manner as well. Because rumour has it we have 200 million, 300 million, whatever. So let's just say we got 150 million to spend. But with the players we can sell, we can rate that up to 230, 240 million. We've got over 200 million to spend. I'd go and put 110 million on the table to Roma and say, right, give me Kone, give me Sevilla. That's 50 million for one, 60 million for the other. If they want a little bit more money, okay, I'll stick another 25 on there. 135 million for the pair. Why? Because I personally think they're worth it. And for that, you've got your goalkeeper and you've got your midfielder that I think is better than Tonali. And Fernandes for 135 million. For 35 million more than what we'd be paying just for Tonali. That's my opinion. And then you've got a major part of your team sorted out, which is the goalkeeper. I've said I think the goalkeeper is just as important as a striker. I know to other people it's not. Again, it's just opinion. And then we've also got ourselves a fucking good midfielder in there as well. Would it happen? I don't know. But with the money issues, I think it could happen. And that is what I would personally try and do at Spurs. For the extra 35 million, I get it both. I'm telling you that Sevilla and anyone who's watched him play is a very good goalkeeper. And just going through what a couple of people have said about it. Davis, Kinsky is not ready. No, I agree, mate, on that aspect. And Lucky almost saying, I can't even read the name now. Perfect backup keeper, perfect backup Tottenham midfield sources say, yeah. Kinsky is our number one next season. Is small club mentality. It just shows, doesn't it? It just shows. It does look like the mentality is just not. It's just not a winning mentality, doesn't it? When you go and do things like that. And Danilis sounds like a quality keeper. Go check his stats, mate. He's a brilliant keeper. Go watch a couple of his games or saves he makes on YouTube and that. Very good goalkeeper in my opinion. 26, and I think he can improve. And Richard James also saying sentimental Spurs fans. Yes, we know that. That is what a lot of Spurs fans we are. Richard also saying Kinsky ain't good enough. Not yet. I do think Kinsky can be good, but I don't think he's good enough yet. And Danilis, Kinsky as number one is a risk. I totally agree. Not enough evidence to warrant number one at Spurs. Totally agree. And low fat, mo fat. Okay. Tonali and Savinho to Spurs gone quiet. Yep. I think Savinho is, I don't know. I mean, that would be one who I'd definitely say I'm not that interested in because he doesn't do the job on the left of what we want. Would I say no to us getting him? Of course I wouldn't, because I think he's better than what we've got. But I think the problem is for me, he doesn't score the goals. And in that aspect, I think there is where we have the problem. We want goals scored. And Savinho, for me, isn't an out-and-out goal scorer. But again, another one I'd take because he's significantly better than what we got, and he'd probably score more than Till or fucking Odegaard. And Lucky Singh, I'll go get him. Alex Scott. Yeah, Alex Scott, I think that's another one worth having a look at. Again, I would say he's better than what we've got there. They were saying I would sack all footballing directors at Spurs. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're any too great. And Martia, T666. All right, different name, I'll give you that. Kinsky learned at start as he performed really well in the last 7 games or so. Yeah, I never changed my mind on Kinsky, and he did very well to rehab his career after the one horrid game. No, I totally agree with that. He done brilliant to get it back on there, but I don't think he's good enough yet. I don't think he's ready yet. And let's see how Spurs fans change their mind again when he has 3 shit games for us. We should have got a goalkeeper. He's too young. He's inexperienced. And it goes on and on and on. And Davis, what you're saying here, the Scarface wall art at the back says all you need. It's an old picture I've had for a long time, mate. It's an old picture I've had for a very long time. I think I've had that about 12 years now. Lost a bit of colour to it, but they're my favourite films as well. I mean, Goodfellas, Scarface, Casino, quality films. You see, I do love a good film over a movie. You know, movies are just like Bad Boys, something like that. I like a good film, like Goodfellas. And Martia also, Kinsky looked a lot better than Vicario. Do you know what? If I've got to pick one or the other, I think I would actually pick Kinsky over Vicario. I think Vicario, as a shot stopper, I think he's one of the best in Europe. As a split-second shot stopper. But that's it. When he has to think, he fucks it up. When he has to talk in the box, screws it up. He gets pushed about like a little bitch as well. He's only loud when it's up the other end of the pitch, or he gets loud when he goes in and he blames everyone else but himself. For me, Vicario started well for us, and then he got sussed out, and for me, the fella's got go. And if it's one or the other, yes, I pick Kinsky. But it doesn't have to be one or the other, because there are better out there I think we could go for. And Lucky Singh, 116 charges incoming. Yeah, and I just paid £10 million debt, and it'll all still be there. No one to complain. And we are Spurs. Nothing substantial is going to happen to Man City. Of course it's not. I don't think so. And they're not going to take their titles away or whatever else. And low fat. Rules have loopholes. We all know that. Every rule in the world has loopholes in it. Rules have loopholes in them. Look at the politicians who set rules and they use loopholes to get around them. Exactly. So if everyone else does it, when did West Ham cheat? When did Man U cheat? If you go and check in Man U's history, I can't remember what it was exactly for, but they got fined about, I think it was about 400,000, 500,000 for cheating on talking to players when they shouldn't do and that. Go check up the history. Man U got done for it as well. It's just the difference is no, they actually got done for it. It's just the difference is where it wasn't like Chelsea, where it wasn't like Man City, it didn't get spoke about because it wasn't as major as what they've gone and done. But check up the history. Yes, Man U did get fined for cheating as well. And Martia, I had a job as a security guard, and the problem was I was honest, and my honesty made me unpopular in the company, and it was difficult for a company to find me a partner as I was too straight. Mate, I can speak from experience here. Where I used to work, I used to do security work, used to do job work, door work, Brixton, Ali Pally, all that sort of stuff. And being too straight in that one, mate, being too nice in that one, don't do you no fucking favours, does it? It really don't. I think I know what you're trying to say. I'm not going to go and give detail on it, but I think I know what you're actually trying to say. And yeah, that's definitely one where just being straight as don't do you no favours. Yeah, especially doing the door work in places like Ali Pali up London and that with it when you got 10,000 people on there. And we got no charges, sir. Go check up your details. You actually have. It just didn't get spoke about as much because it was nothing major as such, like Chelsea and Man City. But you have still been done for cheating. And Lucky's also saying here, I can't pronounce the fucking name. And Tonali better suited at Tottenham. Yeah. And Low Fat Mo, United fine, 270 for breach of FFP rules, 2019, 2022. Cheating is cheating. Exactly. Okay, less than what I thought. I thought it was over 400,000. But there you go. Whether it's one little cheat you've done or 10 major cheats you've done, cheating is cheating, they say. And if that's all I'm going to get fined, and like I said, or 10 million for a couple of things or whatever, but I'm going to win league titles out of it and that, do I give a fuck what anyone else thinks about me? Do I give a fuck about anyone else calling me a cheater? No, I don't. Fuck off and finish it like 8th in the league because you were straight. Fuck off and go get the crap players because you can't bring them in. If everyone else can cheat and be at the top for it, why can't we do it? But I know other people are going to have a straighter attitude to it. Doesn't make you less of a person, not at all. It's just people have got different attitudes to life and people portray and see things differently. I've got too much of a fuck it attitude in that aspect of I honestly don't care what people think of me and I will do what I need to do to get to the top and to win. But other people prefer to say they've done it the right way. Again, each to their own. I can understand if you go and do it the right way, yes, I suppose I can see it would be more satisfying. Yeah, you've done it the right way. But again, I really wouldn't care. Do it the right way, do it the wrong way. If I'm at the top, I'm at the top. Give me the £10 million fine. Can easily pay it. And just go for a couple more. Hotspur is a keeper with only 6 or 7 games in a relegation battle. Really, who we want between the sticks next year? I'm with you on him. This is exactly my point. And I'm not saying he won't come good. Do you know what? He could actually turn out to be excellent. We all know that. But I don't want us to be taking chances. Not total. I mean, at least with Rashford, if we go and take that chance, he's an established player and we know he can at least have purple patches of scoring 7, 8 or scoring 15 goals in the season. With Kinsky, we got 5 solid games off of him, basically. All right, call it 7 games off of him. You don't know whether you're coming or going with him. And I'm not willing to take that chance. Not with the fucking goalkeeper. And Samsung on breach of rules. Yeah, well, man, you were cheaters as well. Accept it. Daniel is laughing at it. And Lucky seeing Burville just sell cash in and go for it. I mean, that's other ones as well, isn't it? I mean, I'll go with them in a second because I've still got myself 15 minutes. So the other goalkeeper I want to go to quickly is Diogo Costa at Porto. Some people don't rate him, others do. Now, personally, he's another one that I've watched more of him play off of what I've seen on YouTube and that. And I know YouTube can be very... I suppose a few of us could go about and have a kick about in a fucking playground and I could film it and make us all look good. That's how easy it does. And also with a bit of AI, it works nicely. But going by his stats here as a goalkeeper, a goalkeeper's stats, in my opinion, are a lot harder to lie with than, say, a midfielder. A midfielder, you can say his pass ratio is 95% and 200 passes in a game. Yes, 150 of those passes were to a man 6 foot from him. That's where stats do lie. But last season, altogether, well, in the league, 33 games, 15 conceded, 21 clean sheets. Now, I do also understand the goalkeeper is only as good as his defence. But a goalkeeper has to make major saves in the game as well. Altogether, 49 games, 27 clean sheets, 26 clean sheets, 27 conceded. And then you look at him on the season before. And the season before as well, 24, 25. Let's bring that up. 43 games overall, 45 conceded, 19 clean sheets. price tag on here of about 40 million, they're saying. So in my opinion, put 50, 55 million on the table. There's another one you can get. I know we have other player spaces that we need to improve on, but for me, a goalkeeper is a major part of your team. And I just can't see why so many Spurs fans have changed their mind over 5 fucking games. 5 games. That easy. And Sam saying, fair enough if it's true. It is true, mate. But it's just not a major one like City and Chelsea. No, it's not to that degree. But again, if people want to call people a cheating is cheating. But it's not of the same degree as them. And Davis also saying, who remembers when Buffon came out saying that Vicario will be better than him? Yeah, we wish. I mean, Buffon, there is a world-class keeper. Or was. I mean, I remember when he played at Parma, for fuck's sake, when Parma had that excellent team of Lillian, Scram in it, Crespo and everything else. Sadly, they were quite small and had to sell everyone up. That was a brilliant team they had. But Buffon, there's a world-class goalkeeper for you. And we are Spurs TV. He's always been bad in commanding his box and he will always be bad with his feet. Yeah, Vicario, he's going to go anyway. And I can see rumours are that Inter Milan want him, Juventus want him, and who else was it? There was someone else in it who wanted him as well. I can't remember. But that's another one we could do. Give us Sevilla. Give them an option they can't turn down Roma. There's 40 million. Take Vicario as well. That's 40 million in their back pocket and a goalkeeper. Not a very good goalkeeper, in my opinion, overall, but a goalkeeper. That'd mean we've got our shit keeper out of the way, who does our heading. Quality goalkeeper in there. They've got 40 million in their pocket. Why can't we go and do something that? Why can't we do that? You know, why can't we do things with Tonali? Like, there you go, there's 90 million. Take Bergvall. Because I know people rate Bergvall as like 50, 60 million and that. Me personally, I don't. I think he's been, after his first 10 games at Spurs, I think he's been pretty shit and his stats say it as well. But then you can say everyone's been pretty shit at Spurs. But he's another one I'm quite happy to see the back of him. He doesn't. We're not going to miss him. And this is where people go with things again on the sentimental side. I don't think we need the young players right now to hope and play on potential. We need players that can do it now. We need a squad that can do it now. And then in the next couple of seasons, when we've got a first 11 that is established and a squad that is quite established, then we can start bringing in people like Gray, like Bergvall, like Kinsky, like Till, and start building them into the team as such with better players around them. Then I've got no problem with it. But I don't want to rely on fucking kids. And you can't necessarily blame them with the lack of experience they've got. But then there is that other side. If you're good enough to get an £80,000 fucking contract, you're going to get grilled the same way. And that's how I'm like a bit. Well, if he's getting paid 80 grand a week and he's in that first 11, you've got to judge him the same. Doesn't sound fair, but it is what it is. We need to get players for now. So if that means we get rid of a couple of our younger players with potential, who I must admit haven't shown much potential. I mean, honest to God, what potential has Bergvall really shown since he's been at Spurs? What potential has Gray really shown at Spurs? Odebert, Tell. What potential have they really shown? Not a lot. Not in my opinion. But if someone's willing to come in and pay 50 million for him, obviously you take it. So I don't know with Newcastle. Go and offer him 70 million and Archie Gray or Bergvall. See if that'll get you somewhere. Or go put 90 million on it and you can take fucking Bergvall for all I care in that aspect. But I know others wouldn't like that. But that's just, again, my opinion. Just get the players now who can play football now. Not ones who are going to be better in 2 or 3 seasons' time. If we don't improve significantly, we might not have 2 or 3 seasons to get better and improve. 3 strikes and you're fucking out usually. But if we end up playing as bad next season as we did this season, the only thing, again, that is basically going to keep us up is where the teams that have came up might not be good enough. Do we even want to be in that position again? No, I fucking don't want to be in that position. Does anyone here want to be in that position where you are having to rely on a kid to stay in the Premier League or an inexperienced goalkeeper? No, I don't. And if that means we get, I mean, how many kids even make it through the system anyway? Realistically, I don't know the exact percentage, but is it any more than 1.5%? Especially at Spurs. So again, it's going to sound harsh what I say here. I don't give a fuck about the kids. I don't care. I don't care whether it ruins their career that we kick them out of Spurs. Because all I care is about Spurs being good, about Spurs getting to the top, about Spurs having quality players. So if we end up kicking out one of the players or selling him and it half ruins his career, I'm sorry, I don't care. He's not my problem. Why should I give a fuck? But I know there's a lot of people on there who would. And again, that's just where people see things from different angles. Yes, might be a bit heartless the way I've said it there. But again, for me, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And I want what's best for the club, not what's best for a player. Why should I give a shit about that player? I don't support players. I support Tottenham. I want what's best for Tottenham. I don't support Till. I don't support Richarlison. Not many people even like him. I don't support Solanke. I don't fucking support Christian Romero. Or Van der Ven. Or Porro. If they don't play well, they can all fuck off. I don't care. I support Tottenham. So why do we have to be sentimental about these players that they deserve a chance or they're young, whatever else? Fuck it. If we need to kick the young players out to get a bit of extra money in, to then go and buy significantly established players that will take us up in the ranks, then do what you got to do. Stop being so sentimental about it, that he had 5 good games for us, or he's only young. Give us a chance. Give him a chance. I don't want to give him a fucking chance. I want a player that's going to do it now. But I just know people see things different. And again, it's back to the point I make of each to your own. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day. Everyone just sees it different. And I can understand that. I just don't necessarily agree with it. And what you're saying now is it's there on Google. United, fine, go check. Yep. And Lucky Singh, Dan, you look like a good worker, mate. Respect. I wouldn't say good. Far from it, mate, but thanks. Yes, sorry, just checkpointed. You're correct. Yep, it was on that one, mate. Like I say, it's not a major one. Brian, how we doing, fella? Hope you're good. I have 100% faith, belief, and confidence in Kinsky. Fair enough, mate. Kinsky. Fucking Kinsky. Sounds like Spurs Club, doesn't it? It's always kinky there. If that's how you see it, Brian, you're perfectly entitled to see it like that. And there have been players who's come through. I just don't. And I don't see how 5 games can change people's minds. But that's just the way I portray it. 5 games isn't enough for me. Same as a good transfer window wouldn't be enough for you to have changed your mind on Daniel Levy. Again, it's just where we see it differently. And Brian also saying, especially if we bring in the quality we are planning to bring in ahead of him. Again, I agree if we bring in the quality. But a goalkeeper is just as important as a striker, mate, for me. You need quality at the back. Now, for me, if I build a team, I build the team from the back, basically. Other people build it from the front. Other people build it from midfield and then build around it. Again, it's each their own. It's out to what style of football you prefer. But for me, you must have a solid goalkeeper, for sure. And that is one thing we need desperately. That is one thing that can save us points. And over 5 games, I'm sorry, that is just not enough to prove to me that he is established and ready enough to take on a season for us, basically. So I'm just going to go through a last couple here. I'm sure people have got my point, gone on about it enough. I'm going to read out a couple of random ones here. And, Danny K, what are you saying? Brian, did you enjoy your birthday? Yeah, happy birthday for the update, Brian. I did send you the message. Also saying, big up, Dan, big up to you too, mate. Brian also saying, it's been a lot more than 5 to 7 games he had. Not this season. He had 10 games this season. I'll just check that out just to make sure on there. This season altogether, he played 7 in the league, conceded 7, 2 clean sheets. 2 in the League Cup, conceded 2, 1 clean sheet. Champions League, 1 game, conceded 3. So altogether, this season, Kinsky, for us, had 10 games, conceded 12, with 3 clean sheets. That's not experience. Let me have a look before. That is not experience for me. And yeah, I just can't see how that will satisfy some people. And I think if I'm right, season before, he played 6 Premier League games, 6 Europa as well. That is not experienced. Yet we could go out and get ourselves a quality player. I mean, Brian, if you want to jump on quickly, I'm sure I could buy myself another 20 minutes. Already half hour longer than I needed to. So message me quickly if you want to jump on and talk about Kinsky, and I will have 20 minutes at the most. I've just bought myself a hell of a lot more extra work I've got to fucking do. I made that bad mistake of saying I'm going to do this quick as possible, and then an hour and a half goes by. So if you want to come on, say a bit about Kinsky, mate, you're more than welcome. Here we go then. I'll send you the link. Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm in trouble. But, you know, flowers and chocolate gets you a long way as well. Right, just putting the link out to you, Brian. There we go. Link sent you, Brian. And what you're saying here, Swigs, can see Vicario going to Juventus? Yep. But that depends on whether they get Martinez from Aston Villa. Yep. Can see that happening. But again, if we go and offer Roma and then take it from there, 40, 50 million, we're definitely going. It's definitely going for something on there. It definitely puts the ball in our court. Brian, how we doing, mate?
I'm good, brother. First of all, it's good to be back on your channel. I hope you and Beth and everything is good. And everyone in the chat is good and well. Just first of all, how are you, bro?
In trouble, but I'll deal with that, mate, when I come on.
Mate, you and me have been in the married game for a long time now. When aren't we?
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life. But like I say, chocolate and flowers take you a long way in life.
They're a godsend. They were invented for moments like this, brother. They were invented. Exactly. Forget Valentine's Day. They were made for things like this. But no, what I'm saying about Kinsky, bro, is when I said 5 to 7 games, I didn't mean he played more than 5 to 7 games. What I was trying to get across is I think that the problem I had with him last season, his distribution, we all know is fantastic. Was his shot stopping? Exactly. Was his shot stopping? That's the issue I had, or the doubt I had with Kinsky. And I think over the games that we stayed up in, he showed he's definitely got the shot stopping ability. So I've got no issue with him at goalkeeper. The way I look at it right now, Dan, is we have so much to fix out on the outfield that replacing Kinsky is very, very low on my list. The only way I replace Kinsky is, remember last season when they brought Trafford in at Man City, and then Donnarumma became available, and Man City said, right, we can't mess about with this. That's an elite goalkeeper. We can get him. Let's do it. Then if a goalkeeper of, not saying Donnarumma's standard, because they don't often come about, but if an elite goalkeeper comes about that we can get into the football club, then you do it. But you remember when we said all season, many seasons, Spurs are waiting for the right opportunity. And we've had to hit. That's where I am with the goalkeeper. That's where I am. I've got no drama. If Kinsky's our number 1 next season, absolutely no drama with it whatsoever. If a top draw keeper becomes available and says, I want to come for Spurs, then you have to take it and make him number 1. That's where I stand on it.
Well, for me, Sevilla is a top keeper. He's definitely proved it over the past 2-3 seasons. Okay, he might not be world class. I know that. But other big clubs have looked at him, like Man City and Chelsea as well. Man City don't need him. I think Chelsea would be the only other big club that do actually need a goalkeeper, because every other established club has actually got a solid keeper, except Chelsea, basically. I mean, their goalkeeper's shit. Better than Vicario. I don't know, actually. I think they're both shit, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And that is why I make the point on I think we could get him. It's the same sort of reason on why I think we can get Tonali, because I don't really see any other established club that needs a Tonali. And I don't see Arsenal spending 100 million on a player that might not be for their first 11. For me, a goalkeeper, Brian, is just as important as a striker. A goalkeeper can get you 15 points a season, 10 points a season, and keep you that fucking season. Now, I understand you need to score goals as well. But also, what is it easier to do? Is it easier to win a game 2-1 or 1-0 sort of thing, or to play every game you score 3, we score 4?
Dan, I can agree. But if you look at it right now, what's more important to get a 20-plus goal scorer or a goalkeeper? It's the 20-plus goal scorer every single bloody time. You look at the defence that we've got right as of right now. Let's just pretend Romero's not at the football club because, for all intents and purposes, we all know Van Hecker was brought in. That defence is a lot stronger than what it's been, especially the centre-back quartet than we've had in a long, long time, which I think helps Kinsky. If a Tonali comes in, Tonali is the one out of the two that I think gets done. I really do think Tonali will be a Tottenham Hotspur player. I've said it from the beginning, and I ain't going to change my mind on that one. So we need to if we get this quality that can supply the forward, we need a forward to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. We've been blessed for years with Sonny and Kane, and now we've seen just how much they have kept us up where we were. So for me, I think the striker is if we do not bring in a striker of any capacity this window, no matter what else we do, this window is a busted flush. Because gone.
No, finish what you're saying, mate.
No, I was just about to say the striker for me is absolutely imperative. The number one position that needs to be filled with a player of quality, like a genuine predator, a genuine goal threat, a genuine, like when the ball goes to him through on goal, that's going in the back of the net. And we haven't had that since Kane. And we need someone that gets 20 plus goals a season. And I think that's more a priority than the goalkeeper. I think it's more priority than anything. I think Kinsky can go from strength to strength this window, this season. I really do. I've got a lot of faith in that guy. But like I said, everyone looks at it differently. Like you said, you see it that a goalkeeper is a necessity. I don't see it as a necessity. I see it. The only time it becomes a necessity to me is if a top draw keeper becomes available that will say he'll come to Spurs. Then you go, right, we got to bring him in. Kinsky, you're going to have to wait another year or two, whatever it may be. But I don't want the goalkeeper right now to be one of the prime areas of focus because I think there's much more work to be done outfield.
Now, you see, I see that slightly different because I'm going to go from more of a logical side here, realistic sort of attitude here. Now, do not get me wrong. We need a striker desperately. But a striker is probably the hardest one to get out there because there is few and far between. Strikers are like gold dust these days.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me. Take it 20 years, 25 years ago. Teams used to play with two strikers. There was enough quality goal strikers to go around. Even poor teams had very good strikers because there was plenty of them to go about. The fact that Harry Kane, I know it's just rumours, but Harry Kane might be getting sold to Barcelona for 75 million at 33 years old just about says everything. Now, I know he's a world-class striker, but 33, 75 million, really? There is just fuck all strikers out there. Now, I feel number 10 is very important as well. Almost just as important, because if you can't feed the striker, what's he going to do? And I don't rely on Maddison because he's always fucking injured in that aspect. Even though I'd love to be able to, but I don't want to rely on him basically because he is always injured. But I agree with what's said in there earlier. Yeah, keep him for the squad basically, and when he can play him in that. Yeah. And for me, Simmons has done nothing to justify that he's a good number 10. He's had a moment or two, but maybe either way. So we need a number 10 just as much. We need a left winger just as much. But the more realistic one that I can improve significantly and do the job is a goalkeeper. Now, you look at that defence we've got, and I know, again, it's ifs, buts and maybes. It depends how it sinks in. But you look at the players we've actually got there, that actually looks like quite a good defence.
Yep.
And I know a goalkeeper can only be as good as his defence to an extent, yeah? And it also depends on what we're going to do with other defenders and that. And we're also meant to be interested in other defenders as well, which is weird. But either way, I can get a goalkeeper that I would say 5 times better than what I've got for a respectable price and possibly get rid of the crap one I've got in the process. Again, all ifs, buts and maybes. or I can go out and hunt the whole time and get a striker that might even end up not better than we bloody got, because there is such a lack of strikers out there. Now, I know we're all desperate to get a striker, but how many are there that we can really go for and that ain't going to cost it? Like, we're paying 100 million for Tonali, possibly, for fuck's sake. So what's a good striker going to cost us?
So Dan, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a very quick question then. Give me a goalkeeper that you like that will be around, let's say, the 40 million pound mark. Just anyone that you. Who?
Sevilla.
Okay, who plays for who? Sorry.
Roma.
Okay.
Roma.
If I said to you right now, and there's no wrong answer to this, you could have that goalkeeper down for 40 million, or Garassi up top for 40 million. With what we've got in those positions already, which one? Because Garassi isn't going to be one of those massive spends. If we, and this is, like you said, this is all coulda, woulda, shoulda, ifs, buts, and maybes. But if you had 40 million right now and you could guarantee you get this keeper that you're mentioning in, or Garassi in, which one are you going for?
I'm trying to get who's the striker you said? I can't picture him.
Garassi, the one that plays in Germany for Borussia Dortmund.
Dortmund, yeah.
Same price.
Do you know what? I'm going for the goalkeeper because I reckon he can get us more points.
Fair comment. I would go for Garassi.
That's not to be stubborn on it. It's a good point you're making now. But I think a goalkeeper can rescue us more points in a season than a striker. We can still have the capability of scoring a goal a game. Yeah. Now, if we get ourselves someone out on the left who can bang in a few goals, which is something we definitely need, we've got a player for the right. And for me, Kudus don't really come as a goal scorer. If we go and get Savinho to go on the left, then that changes my mind a bit more that we desperately need a striker. Because I think Savinho's a good player, but he ain't a fucking goal scorer, which is what we keep saying we need. And then it also helps if we've got a number 10 who can put in a few goals as well. But we need that number 10 just as desperate to get some chemistry in that club that we haven't got. We've got Maddison, but he's just never fucking... He's always injured most of the time. And then a third of the games he does plays, he doesn't show up anyway, if we look at his stats. We are that desperate everywhere on that team. I agree with that. But I would say it's easier to win games 1-0, 2-1 than it is to play you score 3, we score 4. And a goalkeeper, well, here's your example. When I keep saying I don't think Kinsky's good enough, I've had a fair few people say to me, but Kinsky kept us up. So who actually kept us up last season? The people scoring goals or the goalkeeper?
Well, mate, you know what? You've got to look at it this way. I look at it, if it hadn't been for Kinsky's second save in the Leeds game, and we would have lost that game, that could have been it. That could have been it. Hook, line, and sinker with that Leeds game, and Leeds were completely on top of us then. Then you look at the Paulinho goal against Wolves, where we were shambolic in that game, but obviously Kinsky made the free kick save in that as well. It depends what way you want to look at it. And Scott's right, West Ham kept us up. West Ham flopping in the final 3 games after having a good run. But it depends where you look at this, because Kinsky, those 2 saves at Leeds, especially the second one, which would have made it 2-1 Leeds, it 2-1 Leeds. And I think that could have been a real, literal, that could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. So I agree with Scott here. West Ham kept us up.
You can say that with a few things. You can even turn around and say Vicario saved us a couple of games as well, whatever, and then also fucked us up a few. You can put it through all ifs, buts, and maybes on there, yeah? And it's just where people see it different. But I feel with the squad we've got, I feel we could make a significant jump from goalkeeper to what we could in striker. And I personally feel a goalkeeper is just as important as a striker. And I feel the goalkeeper is the one that we could significantly improve on. Striker, it's just few and far between. And I feel the goalkeeper ones, I feel there's an 80% chance we actually get it done.
Mate, we could sign a one-legged player and it would improve our strike force. That's how bad
I can't really argue.
That's how bad our strike force is. We need a goal. We need someone that puts ball in the net. I think Kinsky, like I said, and I will let Dan speak in a sec. Big up, brother.
Right.
I just think with what Kinsky showed, yes, we've got a small sample size, and the defence that has now come in. If you get a Tonali ahead of them as well, which will obviously ease the pressure on the defence, and then obviously the goalkeeper, I think signing that striker is 100 times more important than the goalkeeper. And I think if let's just say that if we get the players that we're rooming to, if and if Savinho comes in, a Tonali comes in, I'm not going to say Fernandes. Let's just, because it's up in the air, but let's say a Tonali, a Savinho, and a striker comes in. I think that would have been enough, and I mean of quality, not of hope, of quality. If they come in and we have that quality around outfield, it gives us a year to see what Kinsky can do. And if Kinsky fails, then next summer, goalkeeper becomes a major problem. Or sorry, not a major problem, a major one of the big players we bring in.
I see that. But let me turn that to the other side. If we end up not much better than last season, and Kinsky makes 5 fuck-ups, costs us 15 points.
Well, it could cost us 1 point. Well, it could be.
Exactly. I know, but I'm looking at it from all angles. There's so many ways you can look at this. And
of course there is.
You can't really say anyone's particular right or wrong because it is opinionated. Same as who kept us up last season. Did West Ham keep us up because they were that shit? You can agree with that. Did Kinsky keep us up because of the saves he made? You can say that. Did what's his name keep us up because of who scored at Everton? Who was it who scored at Everton? Was it Paulinho? In the last game of the you could say Paulinho kept us up. I mean, it all depends how you want to look at it, basically. Yeah?
Correct.
And I just feel that a goalkeeper that we can improve 5 times over with experience and everything else and proven on paper, yes, we know stats can lie, but you can only go by what you see and by the stats and that, significantly better. And I just find it crazy, Brian. So many people, me being one of them, were saying, yeah, mate, your career's fucked. You've done it. And you can't blame anyone for saying that. And you've got to give the fucking boy credit for how mentally he stuck by himself, got himself in it. But then change their mind after 5 fucking games. 5, 7, let's say. And all of a sudden he's good enough to be the number 1. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Dan, how you doing, mate? How was the beach?
Oh, it was good, mate. It was good. It was really good day. It got like
some good views on there. Some good sights.
Some very good sights, mate. I was with a big group of friends, so it was nice. No, it was a really good day actually. We went to the beach. Yeah, no, did we got we got there quite early actually. We got there quite early. We left. We got home. I got home about 9 o'clock. So I spent the whole day there. It was good. It's nice because it's like you feel like you're in Spain, but you're not. You're in the Netherlands.
So it's better than the fucking beaches over here.
Yeah.
But either way, go on.
I know, mate.
Kinsky, go on. What's your issue with
Kinsky?
No, I think
you probably know my opinion anyway because we've spoken about it before. But I'm with Brian on this. I think there's more. I would say he's not a priority situation we need to sort out. I know you feel differently, Dan, but for me, I've seen enough of Kinsky that I think he can do a good enough job this season. I believe that he's going to show people this season. Now, I could be wrong, but I just believe that he's going to show people another level to him this season because this is his time now. He's 23 years old. If he wants to become a proper top keeper, then he's got to start showing it from this season. Otherwise, he'll never be a top keeper. He'll only be an alright keeper. Do you know what I mean? So,
but are you willing to take that chance? Haven't we taken enough chances at Spurs and it's backfired on us?
Well, Dan, the one thing that you've got to understand is that are you not? What's his name? De Zerbi said that he only trusts 10, 11, 12 players. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Porro and Kinsky have signed new long-term contracts, doesn't that show that he obviously trusts them enough because he's seeing something in them that he believes he can trust them to do what he wants them to do, right? Whether that's their ability.
Number 1.
Yeah, of course. He was saying that though at the time. We all know what De Zerbi's like in terms of that aspect, right? He was saying that because he was the number one. He wasn't lying. Vicario was the number one. He's got the number one on his jersey, right? So he wasn't lying when he said that. He's just saying that so that he's keeping the team sort of in a good faith, right? In good stead, like so that they're still what's the word? They're connected together, right? And they're not like disconnected, and they're not sort of out on their like putting a bad sort of energy in the dressing room, right? He's gonna say what's true, and he wasn't lying when he said Vicario was number one. He was the number one, right? But he's not going to be number one now because it clearly, obviously, looks like Vicario is going to go, and Kinsky is number one, and we all know that because, for me, I've said this to you before, Dan, that in that last sort of 5, 6, 7 games that Kinsky was playing, what I saw from him and what I felt from him being in the stadium as well was I've never felt that type of confidence in a keeper since Lloris in his heyday, right, in his prime. And we all know Lloris wasn't the best in terms of kicking out and stuff like that, but he was a top class keeper, right? He was one of the best on the. He was one of the best. It was one of the best around in that period, right?
I'll beg differ on that one, but opinions.
Fair enough. But yeah, look, I think Kinsky deserves a chance, and I think that, like Brian said, I would rather spend the money on places we really need upgrading. And I don't think Kinsky is at that point yet because we haven't seen enough of him. But I've seen it. I've seen enough to believe that he's going to be better, even better this season. And I think he'll just continue
the season. Richarlison goes and bangs in a few goals, and like a lot of Spurs fans do, get all hyped up and wet over it. All of a sudden, he's the man. He's here to stay. He's doing his shit, and then all of a sudden, falls off a fucking brick wall and bangs his face up again. It's the same. It's the same thing.
I just want to very quickly piggyback on something Dan said, then I'll let Danny and Dietrich talk. I think what Danny just said
Dietrich's
about
here. That fucking bitch.
I think what Danny just said and alluded to, what we've got to remember as well, when Hugo Lloris was in this pomp and when we were playing for us, the style of keeper that was in demand back then was a sweeper keeper. It wasn't about playing from the back.
That's very
about,
right.
Mate, it was about playing from the. Now it's about playing from the back and being good for your feet. When we signed Lloris, the main thing was being quick off your line, coming out, seeing the danger, and getting rid of it. And he was elite at it when we started. That was football. That was the goalkeepers. That was the preference of goalkeeper. Now, the one thing I will say, like you said, Dan, with defending and score goal, how they get. De Zerbi wants to put a goalkeeper that's confident with playing with the ball at his feet, which there is no doubt. I think we'll all agree, even like yourself, Dan, that isn't in favour of him being the number one next season. With him on his feet, he's
Kinsky's good on both feet, Brian, as well.
Exactly, he's head and shoulders ahead, and that could help get the ball forward a lot more. Remember, De Zerbi, when he came in last season, said, "I'm not going to try and put my way and style and philosophy of football in. The main thing for me this season is just get them safe. Just get us safe." So this season, when we do see what De Zerbi wants us to play, because it will be his team, the assets Kinsky has as in ball playing is going to be pivotal and vital to what he wants. It's whether he's got the quality outfield to then follow it through with what Kinsky does. So I think now, for the style of football De Zerbi wants to play, Kinsky is the option that will suit us.
Also, Brian, like I said, when I was in the stadium, I felt confident with Kinsky in the back, and my concern was always that he's good, very good on his feet. Right, we can see that he's very good on his feet. I think his distribution is far better than Lloris's. Right, in terms of his kicking ability, it's not top. It's not like the best in the world, but it's very good. Right, but what I was concerned about was whether or not he was going to be a good shot stopper.
Exactly.
Right? And I think he started to show like his command of the area. He's not as flappy-handed as Vicario was, and he's starting to show that he can command his team, his back line, right? And he can command the box from corners and stuff like this, but also that he's actually got very good shot-stopping ability too. And I think it comes with age, it comes with experience, and I think that given the fact that there was such a high pressure on any Spurs player in that run-in, because the pressure on those players was that if we didn't get the results that we needed, we were going down. And to have that on you, right, and to perform the best I've seen Kinsky perform, it shows that he's got something about him, right? And he was showing his other qualities that a lot of us hadn't seen yet in Kinsky. So, and I think personally, I think the Zerbi has seen enough of him to believe that he'll have the chance this year. And I think personally, I think they know that there's this far more worrying positions we need to fill this season than Kinsky, right? I think Kinsky and Dubravka as the two keepers, right? I believe they've got enough in them to do a job this season. And we've got to remember that we're building a team, right? A squad. It's not going to be done in one window, right? So we have to try and improve on the areas we vitally need to improve that we haven't improved on for years, right? And I think the striker positions, the wing positions, the central midfield positions, they're far more important right now than the keeper, because I think Kinsky has done enough. And I think what will happen is if Kinsky is completely a flop, then what they'll do is they'll give Dubravka the chance, right? And I don't think Dubravka's a bad keeper. I think he's a pretty decent keeper, right? And then in the summer, they'll be their main priority will be to go and get a top keeper, and that's where the money will go. So that's what I believe, anyway.
Yeah, just add on that as well. When De Gea came to United at such a young age, I think he was a year or two younger than Kinsky. He obviously made a load of errors. And United stuck with him. And look, I mean, don't get me wrong. We're talking the Man United Pete Fergie with the absolute quality ahead of him. But if a goalkeeper's going to make mistakes, it's just how many does he make and how costly are they? But young keepers have come in and done the job. Like you said, Dan, the main thing about this is which way you want to see it with the football.
Yes.
That is the thing. And I think, like Dan has alluded to, like I said as well, if I was to look at the list of things Spurs need to spend money on, and big money, if we're going to get another keeper and it's going to be a big money for a keeper deal, I think the positions that we're missing in the front line and midfield and obviously left wing are way ahead of goalkeeper, in my opinion.
Also, can I just add two things? Firstly, we need to address the elephant in the room, right? Number one, Dietrich is a bitch, right? Number two, Dan, you owe Beth some chocolates, flowers, and a burger, no questions asked, right? So that's what you need. You owe Beth, right? I promised her. I said I'll say this. And number three, I just want to say Spurs fans are the funniest people, right? I mean, the amount of people I've seen crying on social media about Fernandes and Tonali, it actually makes me laugh. Like, as soon as they see one report from one person, and all of a sudden, oh, the deal's off, it's fucking done. Like all shit hits the fan, sort of thing. It's like, that's calm the fuck down. What's that?
That's just football, mate. Overall.
No, I think it's especially Spurs fans, right? You can see it all over. Like the amount of like people in groups and stuff like this, it's actually crazy. It's like, do they expect a £100 million player or an £80 million player that's got multiple suitors? Is something the deal's going to be done like in an instant? It doesn't work like that. That's not how business works.
Do you know how, Danny, do you know how
I just want to say,
I've been relaxed. No Ornstein, no news. That's all I go by this window.
Do you know what, Brian? Do you know what? Yeah, I'm like similar with that, right? But also, I do believe what Romano says, a lot of stuff, because I don't think that he puts out shit. I think he does have a lot of insights into things. And look, we all know, even if Ornstein or Romano tweet something, it doesn't mean that it's 100% done, because that's not how life works, right? People need to remember life changes very quickly, and so does football, and so does deals, right? Things
like
look
it
at what
changes
happens
very quickly. If Kinsky fucks up 3 games on the trot, then we should have never got a young goalkeeper. We should have improved him.
But then Dan, after those 3 games, Kinsky doesn't fuck up again for the whole season and has an absolute outstanding season. There's also that.
And there's the point. Yeah, and that's my point.
Right?
It just shows back to fun how quick it changes.
Of course, right? And I agree. But I think like when it comes to the transfers, I think, look, I just want to say one thing on Tonali. I think Tonali will get done. Right, I honestly believe we're going to get Tonali. Right, in terms of Fernandes, I think Tottenham will get Fernandes as long as Man United don't want to pay the fee that West Ham want. If
I
Man
could
United decide to pay the money that West Ham want and in the terms that they want, he will pick United over Spurs. And I think that's probably what's happening at the moment, is that Man United are seeing if they can do it, but if West Ham do not budge on it, Tottenham will pull the trigger and the deal gets done. That's what I feel. That's what I feel is going on.
Right,
Yeah.
Dietrich.
Don't believe Romano very quickly, because that man will retweet a retweet, then put emojis on a retweet, then retweet the emoji retweet, then say the same thing in a cryptic message. Can you believe Ornstein has been on Twitter longer and has delivered less than 9,000 tweets? Romano has delivered close to 80,000, and I bet about 50,000 of them are retweeting his own retweets.
Oh, yeah, but Brian, in that aspect, before I go to Dietrich, that's no different to a high majority of streamers from
Agreed.
who will just say something to get the views, basically.
That's
and we all know there's a hell of a lot of them guilty at Spurs, getting a lot of a stick from people of other clubs because they just use other clubs' names, and then other clubs grilling people because they use their club and everything else, and it goes round and round and round like a fucking circle. Dietrich, how you doing, and how do you see all this thing on Kinsky?
First of all, how's everyone doing?
Big up Dietrich, bro. Canada, bro. Canada in the last 16. Canada in the last 16, bro.
Brian, I'll be honest with you. I'm not supporting Canada because I don't like Jesse March.
He supports Saudi Arabia and Morocco.
Mate, it does, mate. All it is big for Canada to be in the last 16, so it's wonderful for the country.
No, it's wonderful, and I wish them to continue. But unfortunately, whoever they play next year on, it's gonna be an embarrassment.
Yeah, I wouldn't say embarrassment, but I think they
get embarrassed. I
think the dream ends there.
So on Kinsky,
So
on Kinsky, like, you see my issue with this goalkeeper. Like I say, with every youngster, there's more chance of them fucking up than doing well. Like, that's just the odds, unfortunately, in reality. So for me, like, people, when they started complaining when we bought Archie Gray, we bought Bergvall, I've seen more bad games from these youngsters, and including Kinsky, than I've seen good. And yes, he did. After the Atletico Madrid, he did like wake up and he started playing better. But next season is a new reset, so you don't know if he's gonna continue with that progression. So that's why I'm saying, instead of having your hopes with him, how about you go and buy the ready-made talent? Exactly, like Liverpool did with Alisson. They didn't gamble. They said, here's the 75 million.
Can I just say one thing with that? When you talk about Alisson, the one thing Liverpool were missing was a goalkeeper and a massive centre-back.
But now we have the mass.
They had two players they needed to get in two positions that were key. They got them because they had the rest of the squad, and the rest. I agree with you that they went and broke the bank for Alisson. Chelsea did that with Kepa.
Yeah.
So with Spurs, there are so many different positions. If we just needed a goalkeeper, then I understand where you're coming from completely. But I think there's so much more to do.
No, but that's the thing. Yes, there's so much to do, but there you still. Goalkeepers are everywhere. I can name you, like in Italy, there's like at least 2 goalkeepers that are not that expensive, under 50 million.
Atalanta's goalkeeper.
Atalanta, Roma's goalkeeper was named best goalkeeper of the league. Like, there's goalkeepers out there that are not that expensive. So I'm just saying, like, instead of like having your hopes up on Kinsky, for me, just go and get someone that's ready-made. And for me, I'm not getting my hopes up. Kinsky for me is at best a second goalkeeper. I don't see him getting any better than that. And yes, when you say, Liverpool just got Van Dijk and Alisson, well, now we built a brand new centre back, a defense, and now we're gonna bring the midfield. We're just lacking the forwards, but now I'm just, instead of focusing from the front to the back, focus from the back to the front, because goalkeepers can actually win you games single-handedly. And do you see, even Loris even go a step further? If we had, let's say, Thibaut Courtois, Alisson during that Poch team, we could have won the league. Because I remember games in February where Loris made so many howlers. So that's all.
I mean, Dietrich, from the other side, I see it as well, and I can't deny what anyone has said is wrong as such. We do need players in significant positions all over the pitch. But me personally, I think I'd rather go for that player that I know I can get, or 90% sure I can get, that I can improve significantly to what I've got, then go and get that striker who's a little bit better than we've got and hasn't really established in the league whatever itself. Now, people can say to me these goalkeepers haven't established in the Premier League, but for me, it's a lot easier for a goalkeeper to establish himself in the league than a fucking striker. A goalkeeper has his job to do, save the fucking shots. You know, with a striker, with other positions on the pitch, it's all very different. I think a goalkeeper, like when I played it before I played DM and everything and that, it's very quite plain Jane and simple. Like, stop it going in the back of the net. And then sometimes others are expected to play more coming off the bar, whatever else than that, as more of a sweeper keeper. I'm more looking at going for that player that we can significantly improve on, who it is a problem position at the club. And no one can tell me that because Kinsky's there, it's not a problem now, because he hasn't done nothing to prove that it will not be a problem, bar 7 good games. Well, 5 of them were actually games where he stood out and people said he was good. The other 2 people were very questionable of him, like the game against Villa. And instead of wasting my money on a hit and hope, I would rather spend the money on something significant that I know for 95% sure will make a significant change.
I can just use this example. For me, I love Fernandes from West Ham. I think he's a good player. But instead of wasting 80 million on him, I'd rather buy Kone and the Roma goalkeeper for the price of 1. So you're buying
I agree with.
You're buying Kone, which is, I think he's better all around than Fernandes, and you're buying a second goalkeeper for the price of 1.
Exactly. 135 million, I reckon, a personal opinion, I reckon to get the deal done with Sevilla and Kone, and that's
you get it
for what we're spending on Tonali.
Then you're spending less. I'm telling you this right now.
Both Kone is better than Tonali and Fernandes.
Danny, for 80 million pounds, you can get those 2. I know for a fact you can, because Roma will be binding your hand for those 2 players for that money.
Well, the reports came out today, didn't they? That he's worth about 40 to 50 million euros.
Yeah, that's like 45 million pounds.
That's nothing. I agree. I would rather spend 100 million euros, right? Or 100 million, 80 million, 85 million pounds on getting Manu Kone and the Roma keeper Sevilla. Them 2. I agree. If that was the options, I'd take the 2.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, instead of, you see Spurs, the issue, they're currently focusing on Tonali and Fernandes instead of expanding their mind. I do believe, Tonali, you're not gonna get a bigger name than this, but Fernandes or Kinsky, for me, like, they're just going to be like poor recruitment. That's just my opinion. Going next season with those 2.
The reason it can happen, it's like I keep saying, if people check it up, if you go and check up in Italy, Bar Como, they are fucking up shit street, and they have been for a couple of years. And Scott, Kone, is he going to be willing to come to Spurs? As long as no other big club goes in for him.
If you give him 200k, yes.
Yeah. And there's another reason for it as well. People say you can't make force a player to leave a club. In Italy, yes, you can. In Italy, that happens quite a lot. A player doesn't want to go somewhere. Well, the player gets told, we're telling you. And he says, I don't want to go nowhere. Next thing you know, someone ends up on his wife's door, like it did happen, saying, if you don't fuck off, mate, you're not going to be married much longer. And anyone who knows anything about Italy, that happened with someone not a million miles away a couple of times, didn't it? Tonali being one of those people, by the way, if you check up on his history. And
another example, Palestra,
right.
Instead of going to Inter, he said, I'm getting more money from Chelsea, let me go there.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's Italian.
Players like Manu Kone, Tottenham will offer like the similar wages to someone like Tonali. And there's no way he's going to reject close to 300 grand a week or 250 a week. It's not going to happen. Like, no way.
Just before you go on, I need to try and get some sleep before my evening shift starts. So I'm going to go and
Brian, before you go, what do you think of Manu Kone? Would you take him over Fernandes?
Do you know what? I don't watch enough Italian football, to be honest. I look out of the two. I want Tonali big time. I think Tonali.
Yeah, I want Tonali as well.
And I think Tonali gets done this week. I really do believe it. I do think he comes, and then hopefully with him signing and play, these are all if buts and muts, but obviously I think they are coming, or he is coming. I think a signing of that magnitude, and I don't mean of the quality of player, I mean that amount and paying those wages, I think there'll be a lot of players that will think, wait a minute, are Spurs serious? Not saying,
I do agree with that.
I don't mean all the top players in the world are going to go, oh my God, I'm going to come to Spurs.
It makes it
now.
more like, what are they building sort of thing.
Exactly.
Like
exactly. And if Spurs finally do it and they do smash it, and let's say it is 250 and then 275 if we do get Champions League, that is a massive jump from 200 to 250. If it had been 210, whatever, you're like, well, if he comes in and we're paying that amount of money and then we do get others, I think there'll be some players that go, do you know what? Spurs have always been not even interested because of the money you pay. I think getting Tonali over the line, could be a moment where fellow players in that bracket might say, do you know what? Maybe I will come to Spurs because A, it's the Premier League, B, it's London, and C, they're paying, or maybe C should be first, that they're paying the wages. So I don't really want to comment on Kone because I don't really know enough about him to say, oh yeah, do you know what? Fernandes looks like a handy little player. Obviously, if I could, my crown jewel is still Morgan Gibbs-White. I would do anything to get that player over the line at Tottenham.
Do a swap, him and Bergvall.
Oh, mate, within a heartbeat, with obviously money on top, but Bergvall's a make weight. If that gets the Morgan Gibbs-White deal all day fucking long,
yeah.
But I do think Tonali comes in this week, and I do think that will be a pivotal moment for the football club, and for a lot of fans, it'll be like, oh, it's never going to happen. This was PR. This is bullshit. This is, and I'm still sceptical that they're willing to do it with him and Fernandes, but I think Tonali does come. And then hopefully this will be this ain't a one-time thing. This is the standard. You can't just do it this window and go, right, Spurs fans, we've shown you that we can do it. Now fucking fall back and go quiet for ages.
Go to Dominic Solanke's brother next year or whatever.
Exactly, Danny. If we sign players of this magnitude this window, there's no reason in January should we be pressing for a European place of any variety or pushing for an FA Cup, whatever. The Spurs don't go, right, let's assess this and bring in the players you need. Not, oh, we're waiting for injured players to come back. But next summer, again, they need to go, right, this is what the summer was. Next summer now, we only need to sign 2 or 3 players of that magnitude, not the 5, 6, 7, 8s, and go on from there. But I think Tonali is a massive moment for this football club on the pitch and off the pitch, and for the fans to say, right, they are prepared to do it. But like I said, for Kone, I just don't know enough about him or seen enough to actually give a judgment, Danny.
Can I just answer on Kone just to give you, Brian? I swear I'm not even taking going overboard when I say it. I do believe Kone will be a better signing than Tonali. For the amount he does, the line breakers. Do you remember when we signed Ndombele, all the hype he had?
Yep.
Imagine Kone is at the same level, but even better and more consistent.
And it would be cheaper. But look, I'm going to have to wrap it up there because I'm getting evils now. And I've already
I did you a favour there, mate. Did you a favour saying I needed to sleep?
An hour and 20 minutes longer than I've meant to be. So, right, thanks everyone for coming on. Thank you everyone for watching. What I'm going to do is, once this is finished, going to send you over to Flicks. Give him a like and subscribe. He's doing well for himself. And just say Hotspur Hood Raid. Be much appreciated. Thanks a lot, people. Take care of yourselves, and we'll speak again.